Hello, everyone. Here we are again. It's Wednesday and it's episode 105. Yes. And as always, a very warm welcome to Delboy. Thank you so much for being here again on a Wednesday, as we always are. Every week, there's no messing. We're always here. And it probably feels like that sometimes. But yes. So I normally ask this question, and the question is, what have you been watching? Anything you've been watching? Talk about.
I'll tell you what. When things do get improved, I will be watching a lot more. But I have watched a couple of things. I mean, it is mostly on telly. I mean, I saw Creed 3 last night again. I'm not a big fan of Creed. The first one was all right, but the second and third ones, I could take them or leave them. But I'll show you the things that turned up this week. Two of them I have watched. One of them is still wrapped up, and that's because I've got to send it back because they sent two of them.
Oh.
Right. But I was charged for both. So the one that's unwrapped is the one that's in the player at the moment. But the one that I'm really looking forward to watching tomorrow, because it is one of my favorite films, and that is the 4K edition of The Man Who Haunted Himself.
Oh yeah, it's a great film.
It's the 4K one.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to watching that, because I was really excited when I got the Blu-ray. So I'm really interested in knowing how the 4K turns out on that. This is the duplicate, right? So I have opened it up and I have watched it, and that is Inner Space.
Oh yeah.
Classic, and it's the Arrow one, so it's quite a deluxe edition. You can see that. I love Joe Dante, and I thought Inner Space was a pretty good homage to Fantastic Journey. I thought it was quite a unique idea to have him injected into the buttocks of the poor Martin Short, and then having to control his body, to get through things. Where in Fantastic Journey, as you remember, they were trying to repair what was dead in the body, weren't they? They were trying to repair the body. So in this particular instance, he was sort of like controlling him and making him a secret agent. It was sort of like a funny 007 type situation, wasn't it? Because they were trying to find the miniaturization chip and the large chip, weren't they? I thought it was a pretty good film. Came after Gremlins. Doesn't get talked about very much, does it? I mean, have you seen Inner Space yourself, Ian?
Yeah, I saw it at the cinema.
Yeah, did you enjoy it?
Yeah. Oh, it's good fun.
I thought it was a good fun film.
Yeah.
Because he's sort of like one of those people that's a hypochondriac, isn't he? Like anything you talk about, he thinks he's got it. You know what I mean? And
I think it's a good enjoyable film. You can't really not enjoy it. You have to be pretty grumpy, wouldn't you, not to enjoy it?
Yeah. And the other one is another film that even I don't think it's a fantastic film. It's just one of those watchable films, but it is one that I've got a bit of a history on, and it does have a slight connection to Blade Runner. Okay.
Right.
And that's Soldier.
Right? Soldier, yeah.
Yeah. Which, if you recognize in Blade Runner, there is a voice message that says, "Go to the outside colonies." And that's what Soldier is, a slight nod to being in the Blade Runner world, but not being Blade Runner. Do you see what I mean? Blade Runner world, but not Blade Runner. The outside colonies is where he gets dumped. It's a very, very slight homage to Blade Runner. It's not a great film. It's a fun film. It's just it's one of those films that's easy to watch but easy to forget. You'd think to yourself, Kurt Russell would think of better films to do, because he wasn't far away from doing Breakdown and a load of other films, but he hadn't done anything for 3 years, I think, when he made this film. And you'd think he'd make a better choice, because I think that the problem with this is the script more than anything. The story's okay, but the script is a bit poor. You know what I mean? he's sort of like very cold, like he's supposed to be, and then warms up, which is expected. Do you see what I mean? But it's not done. It's not done very holistically, I would say. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
It's sort of like all of a sudden, and then there's the obvious fight against the bigger soldier. Do you know what I mean? That's there, and and he's supposed to be the redundant model, isn't he? Really?
Yeah.
And like I said, I think it could have been better. And it's just one of those ones that I remember watching and thinking, well, it was all right, but it's it's nothing really. And that's how I look at it now. I'm intrigued to know what the picture quality will be like.
But
I'm happy enough to have it in my collection because it does fit in with my collection, if you see what I mean, when it comes to Blade Runner and science fiction films and all of that sort of stuff. But Anderson, the director, he went on to do Resident Evil, didn't he? I mean, he's done better films since, so his career got back on track, and so did Kurt Russell's. So no harm done. That's how I look at it.
I've got a question for you. Do you think, I've heard people say that they think the Sean Connery Outlander could be in the Blade Runner universe. I've never been so certain, but it could be, but I'm not 100% felt, that.
I mean, it's not set too far in the future, so it could be, because Blade Runner could be set a few more years forward, because we are talking about mining in our own universe. We're not using light speed or any warp speed or anything like that. That's why I like Outland, because Outland is very much that's believable. How would you live out in space? Would you go mad? If you had just a community of miners, would they be committing crimes? Would they need drugs to survive?
It could be the off-Earth colony.
Off-world, early rendition of it.
Could do,
So but Outland is a different class. I mean, that's
it's a great film.
That's a class. I love
that.
I mean, I watched that several times.
There's been an Arrow release, hasn't there, of it?
I've got the 4K box.
I've just got a Blu-ray of it, but
came in a funky slipcase, if you remember right. Outland is definitely tech of our time. Even goes around, I think, with a double barrel shotgun nearly, you know what I mean? around the mining colony. And they're serving alcohol from bars and all of that sort of stuff. It's not like Synthvale or anything like that. It's like it really is like a 50 or 60 years in the future, and we're mining now on other planets because we've gone further. It's almost like, what would happen if we landed on the moon, and instead of waiting 50 years to go back to it, we actually continued, and then another 50 years on top of that meant that we actually did go further and we started to do things. It's almost like that. Do you see what I mean? Rather than us stopping in our tracks.
You could say that Outland could be a sci-fi western in many ways as well.
Well, we know it's high noon, don't we? Outland is high noon. Soldier's not high noon.
No.
But I mean, I make it more akin to your Terminator. You talked about it in your watch. You talked about it in your what I watched, and your 80s films. That's right. It was your 80s video that you did this week, which I thought, by the way, was very, very good. Just like Jamie's selection had at least 3 films that I need to add to my list. Yours didn't have any.
No, but you know them all. Mine was more predictable.
Yeah, but you see, this is the thing. You asked me the question, what do we like about these top 10s? I think what we learn about a top 10 is sometimes a film that you might not have seen, but the most of it for me is I understand the person that watches it more. because I get to learn their tastes.
Yeah, but anybody who knows me would have known what my top one was going to be. I bet you knew.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty obvious what my top one would be, and maybe my second one, because I'm gonna say Elephant Man is such a wonderful film.
Cheers.
It really is. It's one of the all-time great films.
I tried to piss you off, did you see earlier? Because I said looking forward to seeing what your 80s films is. I just watched Elephant Man. Oh, sorry, or something like that.
Yes.
In a thought that you might not have I thought you might have missed Elephant Man out. You see,
yeah.
I was being pedantic, just as a laugh.
Well, I do Blade Runner miss it out because it's so obvious, and people will say, that's typical, putting Blade Runner around. But I mean, that's the limitations of, I've said 10 is just, it's too limiting, but what can you do? You have to make decisions, I mean, in the end, I could probably have done 50 80s films easily, probably.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
80s, you see, to me, the 80s was my explosion year, explosion decade. It was the decade where I was going to the cinema by myself because I was a teenager and could do that. We had got a video recorder in that decade. I moved up to, we didn't move to DVD until the 2000s.
Yeah.
So we were copiously, weren't we, going into video stores and renting. We were buying blank tapes and recording. We were getting pirated videos. If you knew people that worked in factories, they were easy to get hold of. It was just an explosion. It was like, how high can I throw the rock in the pond and how big can the ripples be? Because it was, you borrowed from your mates. There was sell-through happening, all sorts. We could talk about the 80s, couldn't we, to death? But
well, actually, I thought mine is actually the 70s. I immediately, without a great deal of thinking, had already come up with 5 films from the 1970s, because I rate the 70s a lot. That was just straight away, without too much thinking. I thought, I know 5 films straight away. So maybe I'm slightly more stronger on the 70s.
Yeah.
If I start digging around.
The thing about it is like, I also think that it is down to your age. Remember,
right.
there is a 10-year gap. There is probably a 10-year gap.
10-year gap. Well, there's a 10-year gap.
But to me, you see, the 80s was the technology boom that made me be able to go to the cinema, but also watch at home.
Yeah, but I mean,
and the 70s,
away, I've got
the 70s was a little bit difficult for you to do that, 70s. Isn't it?
Omen, 70s.
Yeah, but wouldn't you say that the 70s is a time where you wouldn't be able to rewatch those? You have to go to the cinema to see them.
Yes, I'd say that, but late 70s wasn't a problem for me because I was older, and I could join these clubs, what they did after hours screenings of films, and also I was at university. And university had a film club which showed everything, So the university film club used to show about 4 or 5 films a week,
right?
Which was brilliant. You imagine you got a choice to watch 4 or 5 on a big screen because the University Students' Union, where they showed them, had a big screen. It was incorporated into the thing.
I must admit, I dare say that goes on now, but I wasn't at university, so I didn't see all of that.
Yeah,
so
I think I was lucky.
I suppose I'm talking about the layman. You know what I mean? They wouldn't have a video recorder.
But
they wouldn't have a 35mm projector, probably.
Even though we're in a small town, we have got a multiplex cinema. Well, when I say multiplex, it had 4 screens, but for the town, they did after hours filming. They don't do that nowadays, actually. They don't do that.
Thinking about that, my Odeon in the late 70s, I know for a fact, showed Exorcist a number of times, and they showed those as a late night 11 o'clock screening or
they'd have
something.
these showings of films, but they don't have that now. Though I think Psy has all these. There is cinema, which we know is a brilliant
maybe it's
one.
because you have to have a sort of like an entertainment license or something.
Yeah, because basically there'd be people leaving the cinema, and then we'd be going in. We formed another queue about 11:30 or something like that, or 11:30, and we were going in to watch these films. And they weren't all just modern ones. There were older ones as well. It was quite a sort of wide lot of films. Or they'd have themes. You'd have a sci-fi set of films, classic sci-fi. Oh, we had one which I always remember is the banned films. They had banned films. So you had things like Freaks, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which at the time, and all this kind of stuff, Straw Dogs, Clockwork Orange, all these banned films.
The other film I watched this week was Rent-A-Cop.
Oh, Rent-A-Cop.
Hadn't seen that in years. The Burt Reynolds and Liza Minnelli.
Oh, crikey. Yeah, I'm not seeing that. I was trying to work out what that one was.
Yeah. It's actually an okayish film.
Yeah, I don't really remember.
Obviously, I have a serious connection with the music to it because it's Jerry Goldsmith.
Yeah.
But it's really a sort of like a TV film, really. It came out of this, I suppose, at the time, like films that were like Body Double and Dress to Kill and all of that. He's a sort of like private eye type thing. She's a person that's being sort of like stalked type thing. It really is a straight to video type thing. But it actually had a cinema release and didn't do particularly well. But I've got a fondness for it because I remember thinking, wow, this was all right when I first watched it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a forgotten film, and you can see why it's forgotten when you consider all of the other films, Jagged Edge and all this other stuff that's come out after it. I think it came out, 1987, 88?
Yeah.
Seriously, there was a lot more better films you could watch. Yeah. But it would have been one of those films that you picked up at the Blockbusters or video of choice, hired it out and gone, well, that was all right. But you'd have had two other films that you're going to watch that night, and you'd have gone, all right, let's put Body Double on then, and you'd have watched that and gone, oh, wow, that was brilliant, compared to the other one.
Yeah.
And then you might have had Aliens or something, right? And the last one, and you'd have gone, oh, wow, now that's fantastic. You know what I mean? It would have been, it would have just been buried. But, you wouldn't have turned around and said, what's this pile of shit? You know what I mean? Because it wasn't that time. It was never that.
Yeah.
It was just buried. It was a buried film.
Mm.
So I remember I did watch that, this week. But I'm intrigued, as always, to know what Tony York.
Here we go. That Tony York joke. I was getting ready for that. Okay, I haven't got as much to talk about, but I've got enough to jabber on about. There's only 3 here. There's only 3, but there'll be more by Saturday. There'll be quite a lot more. But anyhow, first one is a network title, and it's Countess Dracula. Now, I'm going to say something about network. They were so good in some of the extras. The extras on here. It's got a brilliant interview with Ingrid Pitt, and her life is fascinating. She's amazing woman, really was. Sadly, she's died, hasn't she? But she was brought up in a concentration camp.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing woman, and she's great in this. But what I'm saying is network. As extras, they had that as an interview, which was absolutely fantastic. Then they had a whole episode from Thriller. You know that series Thriller, which Ingrid Pitt appeared in.
Yeah,
so you got that, and then you got another murder mystery. These are all extras from a TV series which I'd never ever heard of. I forgot what the name was, but Eutha Joyce was in it, and she was like the wife of this serial killer, and it was really good. But it was an extra on here. I mean, the extras. You start watching. It was longer than the actual film.
I think we seem to forget that Eutha Joyce did get around in films. I mean, she was in Steptoe and Son. She was in Steptoe and Son Rides Again, wasn't she?
She was, but this was. She was very. You could see it was Eutha Joyce, but she was very much younger, and it was a very straight part. Very good. She was good in it.
I wonder if she had her drinking. I wonder if she had her drinking issues then, because she always said that she drank because she was nervous. She was scared.
Yeah.
She thought she was scared of failure. But those Hammer films would have been an early time in her career. I wonder if they had an effect on her.
Well, this was a TV show. She was in, I think, she was in a few films, early 60s sort of films, not big roles.
Well, I said she was in Steptoe and Son Rides Again.
Yeah,
she was in Steptoe and Son Rides Again.
Yeah,
which is a film.
Yeah, so this film is, of course, a Hammer film, and let's see, I won't go into too much, but it is directed by this Peter Saturday, who directed one of my favorite Hammer films. Was two actually. Taste the Blood of Dracula, which I totally recommend anybody. 1970, and that's. The other one is Hands of the Ripper. Hands of the Ripper, great Hammer film.
Oh.
All of these are going to get. I'm really looking forward to seeing them get their special review. They'll get special releases. They're going to get special releases. But this is a great story. It's just Hammer. I keep looking at the budget that Hammer had. And the creativity of the production team is just incredible.
It's almost like Peter Rogers was on board with them.
In a way, they just don't have much money, but they're able to create so much, and the costumes and the sets are just fantastic. And this is just a really good story. Ingrid Pitt is great in it, and also it's the area where Hammer are beginning to get a bit naughtier, so you see breasts and all that.
Yeah.
You actually see a lot more popping out.
Late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah,
stuff.
They went through that era when they were they thought they had to go in this direction, but this is just a great story. I absolutely loved it. It's crazy. It is. I mean, the basic premise of the story is that she has to kill virgins, bathes herself in blood, and she becomes young. If she doesn't do that, she's older. She goes really old, and she falls in love with this younger bloke, this suitor.
Yeah, if I remember rightly, the old bloke that's been protecting her gets a bit really upset, jealous, doesn't he?
There's all that going in on, but it's a really good story. It's one of those that you could just sail through and just enjoy and think how good Hammer were. And this is not this is probably not considered their first division created greatest films, but to me, it's up there, and it will, of course, get a special release. They say it's bound to, God knows when, but they will get big releases. This and people will then really appreciate it. But it's on network label. Probably you could still probably pick it up online somewhere, and it's probably not that expensive. Even though network, some of them are really expensive. There's still some, if you look, that are not that expensive. But it's a great one. I love it. And then the next one is I always tend to pick a Western. I have been doing recently. This one is called The Man from Colorado. It's from 1948, so it's not that long after the Second World War. And in a way, the Second World War is kind of behind a bit of this, because Well, I'll just say it's directed by this Henry Levin, who directed Cry of the Werewolf, which is a great film from 1944, and the Jolson Sings Again. You know the Jolson story? They did a sequel. Jolson Sings Again in 1949. He directed that.
It was the second half. Yeah.
Journey to the Center of the Earth. He directed that, which is another great film. And the notorious, I have to mention this film, it's notorious. Genghis Khan, 1965. It's notorious because John Wayne's in it. And everybody sort of laughs and talks about that film, about being miscast.
I mentioned it in my blog when Bob asked me about people that have been miscast, I think.
Yes. That's it. Everybody mentions that, but so he directed that. But Glenn Ford stars in it, and he's really good. He's one of those actors in America that just had a great set of film. In fact, he goes back to 1939, and his last film he did was in 1991. So that's a pretty long career, I would say, in terms of Hollywood. And then the other one is William Alder, and he's fantastic as well. I mean, some of the films that he was in, like Sabrina, which is very important film, 1954, and Sunset Boulevard, classic Hollywood, 1950s in that. Bridge Over the River Kwai, you can't help. What a film. Devil's Brigade, which is a really good film, 1965 war film. And The Wild Bunch, notorious film. He's in
The Wild Bunch,
Western. Towering Inferno. There's Towering Inferno cast is absolutely
massive. Just about had everybody, didn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely. And it's interesting, he was in Damien Omen 2, which I remember him so well. Damien Omen 2 is a great follow-up to the Omen. I love the whole trilogy. That's 1979. And his last film was SOB from 1981, which I've not seen. I've heard of it, which I presume is Son of a Bitch short for, but that one. So this Western, it's about Glenn Ford's character, who's absolute close friends with William Alder's character, but the problem is he's been affected mentally. He is obsessed with killing. He's totally obsessed. He can't stop. The Civil War's finished, and he doesn't know what to do. And they say, "Oh, you can be the judge." And he's so friendly with William Alder's character that he says, "Oh yeah, you've got to be my sheriff." But it's interesting watching him, and he marries this woman who they're both sort of rivals for, and in the end, she marries him, and then she sees what he's become. He's a damaged man, and it's good to see in a Western how the trauma of all this killing has changed him and affected him, and it's brilliantly done. And it shows you the power that Westerns, you can do all sorts with Westerns. That's one of the great things people forget about Westerns. And over years they've developed and gone into so many areas, you know. I really thought this was a great film. And then finally, do you like prison stories? I've got one here.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got the Steel Book of Cool Hand Luke, don't you?
Have you? Oh, right. It's. Do you know? I've not.
It came out last year on 4K.
Oh.
I think it was last year. It could have been the year before.
Quite a long time. And I've forgotten how good it is.
Oh yeah,
it's brilliant, isn't it? Paul Newman again. Now, Paul Newman's an actor who I haven't seen that many of his films. You know, I've seen Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. I've seen The Sting.
Bullet Bullet?
Bullet. That's Steve McQueen.
That's Steve McQueen, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah. But I haven't really seen.
I must admit, sometimes I get those mixed up, Paul Newman and Steve McQueen. But obviously, they were in the Towering Inferno together.
Yeah. But this is. I think Newman's good, but the one, of course, the real headlines is George Kennedy, who is absolutely brilliant, and he won an Oscar for this performance in this film. Did George Kennedy?
I always remember Cool Hand Luke because I saw it at a bank holiday, and that's probably nostalgia that made me buy the Steelbook. Because it's one of those films that I saw once and never really thought about again, and I was happy to see it again when I bought the Steelbook because I have seen it now, and I was so glad that I did.
I think it's a film that grows, I think, over time as well, and it's made it. You realize how good it is, especially, in terms of prison dramas. I would put this quite high up. I would put it up there with. I nearly said Shawshank, but because Shawshank is in a world of its own almost, but this one you would really put high up.
I'll tell you what, I remember when I watched it now, it was on telly, and in the same month, I'd hired out Mean Machine from our local video store, and that was a prison one. Yeah. And I remember saying to my dad that I thought Cool Hand Luke was better.
Yeah.
Mean Machine was all right because it was because my dad enjoyed that because it was funny, because it was like, oh, come on. We didn't understand the American football rules or anything, but it was just the characters in it. There was a big bloody bulking guy who was a bit thick, and there was all stereotypical stuff, you know what I mean? With Burt Reynolds trying to shine as the captain sort of this team, you know what I mean? But Mean Machine did get hired an awful lot out of that video store. I remember that.
It would.
I think it was remade in the 2000s. It was bloody awful, if I remember right.
This film I rate with Papillon. Have you seen Papillon?
Yeah.
Papillon is absolutely brilliant. It's interesting that it's Paul Newman and Steve McQueen who were massive actors in this sort of period, and this is good. I didn't realize Paul Newman. He's actually he's very likable in this film. Is the way he is, so I was quite impressed. Maybe I want to see more of his Paul Newman films, to see, rather than the obvious ones like Sting and Butch Cassidy.
Color and Money, that sort of thing.
There's that one, which was a follow-up to his. Well, he did one, The Hustler. That's it. 1960.
That's right. The Hustler. I'll tell you what. The Hustler was one of the first films I bought on widescreen. In part of that, when widescreen videos were coming out, it said you used to see things like this, but now you see things widescreen. Do you remember all those adverts?
I remember that. Yeah.
And there was, Star Wars and Die Hard in that first batch that came out. The Hustler was another one that came out very early on.
In
those collections, and I remember buying that and loving The Hustler. The Hustler is such a great film. And
there's another film which I've not seen and should have done, and you probably have seen it because you like courtroom dramas, which is The Verdict. 1982. I've not seen that, and
you know, Si's going to talk about The Sting, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I've seen The Sting. But The Verdict, I know, is a good courtroom drama. I've not seen that one. I'll try and get around to seeing that one. But yeah,
I'll tell you what, he's got a face that's sort of like quite stern. But I tell you what, he's got the same as all of those actors where they've got striking eyes.
Yes,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Where you turn around and say, "God, and his eyes blue, bloody hell, they really."
Yeah, well, in this is what I think. In this, his performance is like that. It's not a heavy performance. It's based on his smile and his
Yeah.
character, and he does it very well. It's really good. But it it's interesting looking at the sort of chain gang kind of prison sort of stuff. I always find that interesting.
Yeah.
Really good. But yeah, so yeah, I really enjoyed that. So I only watched those three on my list from my collection, but yeah, I enjoyed that. So
Well, I'm just gonna go and check on my mum quickly, but I'll be back
okay,
in
we'll
5
do
minutes.
some while you're away. We'll do some comments. He's gone. Good. He's gone. That was quick. Right. So we have got Sai saying hi guys. Hello Sai, welcome. And then we've got David. Hello David. Thank you so much for joining us. You say hi guys. First time listening live. I usually listen on repeat. Spoke to you a couple of times. Oh, you're all good. Yeah, we're all okay, fine, thanks. Yeah. And yeah, thank you for joining in here, and that's great. And then we have got Dope Sub Gaming saying I Sai and I David, and then Rocket Bunny. Good evening or welcome in person, David. Right. And Dope Sub Gaming says hi, Rocket Bunny. And then David says thanks. And then Sai says hi, Rocket Bunny and David. And then we've got Jamie, Muckman Movies. Good evening, Vic and Bob. Oh, we've been promoted to Vic and Bob now. I say that as a promotion. Normally you call us a lot of things, but there we are. That'll do, Vic and Bob. And then Jamie says, hi, Sai and Bunny. And then let's have a look. Sai says, I don't sub. I forgot to my settings again. And then Sai says, hi, Jamie. And Dot said, I'm still in that part. It's weird, isn't it? And then, yeah, I've just had to change my settings again. I don't understand what's going on. Don't ask me. As you know, I'm hopeless. Bloody YouTube. You're right. Yeah, it is. And then Deltsub says hi, Muckman Movies. And Muckman Movies says, I just thought once you change the setting, it would stay fixed. Doesn't that does happen, doesn't it? To things on YouTube. You can change settings. I've done that. And then you go and have a look again at another time, and it's gone back to how it was. I know you're supposed to sort of press a button sometimes to say that it's accepting what you've done. But there we are. I don't know. And then Jamie says hi, sub. And then Muckman Movie says Soldier is a terrible film, almost as bad as the live action Snow White film. That Snow White film, yeah. Delboy accidentally ordered it. That's what he claims. He sent it back. I think he did send it back, but that live action Snow White thing, yeah, nobody has a good word to it about it. But I think it's because of all the stuff and controversy around it before anybody had even watched it. Personally, I have no intention of wanting to watch it anyhow, so it wouldn't have gone. I would never have got it at all. Oh, Kurt Russell barely speaks in Soldier. Well, that's bad, isn't it? It sounds like a payday. If it's that bad. Ian Delboy, I've been watching episodes of Minder this week. Crikey. But who do you think was the better minder, Dennis Waterman as Terry or Gary Webster as Ray? I've got to be honest. I've probably not watched any of the later ones, which Gary Webster was in it. I probably stopped watching by then. So I always would consider Dennis Waterman. I think, yeah, but I shouldn't really. I should give the other bloke a chance, but I've not honestly seen him. I don't know what the opinion. I presume the opinion is maybe that he's not as good or he's different. I don't know. I've never seen him. And then we've got Tony. Good evening, Ian, Del, and chat. Yeah, you got. I think he's done his insult. You might be all right now, Tony. Welcome, anyhow. And he's always doing his insults. Yeah. And says, "Hey, don't you dare speak ill of Delboy's favorite Disney film." Yeah, I like it. Hello.
What's that?
We were just talking about your favorite Disney film.
Somebody talking about Condor Man or something?
No, the live action Snow White.
Oh, what a piece of shit!
Which I said you'd sent back.
Well, I did.
Yeah, you'd sent it back.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even remember. I think it was because it was just a steel book and I just ordered it.
Yeah.
I'd never seen it. I knew.
Yeah, no intention. Yeah. It's one of those films that had a bad reputation before it was even released. I think there was so much about it going on that by the time it did get released, people probably thought, "Oh, I'm not going to watch that. It's going to be rubbish." That's what would have happened.
What else have I missed? I heard you talking about Minder. What was that?
Oh yeah, it was saying which was Dennis Waterman and it was the other Gary Webster.
Yeah,
who was the better minder?
I think it's night and day, isn't it? That night and day, Dennis Waterman.
Yeah, that's what I've only seen Dennis Waterman. I've not seen Gary
the writing on the wall for Minder really was the Christmas special that they did of the Orient Express. That was, towards the end of Dennis Waterman's sort of involvement. But to me, Minder was definitely that early 80s, was it late 70s Minder came out? Not quite sure on that, but I watched it. Susie Quattro was in one episode. He was always with the girls. There was the Winchester Club and Dave, and there was the policeman and all of that sort of stuff. And it got a bit samey, but it's repeated an awful lot on the ITV channels. And when it turned into the Gary, what was his name? Gary
Webster.
Gary Webster. He was sort of like a fly-by-night character, but he was no Dennis Waterman. Dennis Waterman, you knew he was an ex-boxer, so he was a bodyguard type person. This guy looked like if you tried to antagonize Gary, he'd run away. Well, that's what Arthur would do. So you got two people that would run away at the sight of danger. He wanted to wear suits like Arthur, and he wanted to be Arthur, I think is what it was. And they were both sort of like Londoners, or that type of character. The sort of character you'd find in the St. Trinian's films. Obviously Gary Cole did.
Did it get cancelled pretty quickly then after he left?
I think they did two, maybe 3 seasons.
Oh, that is as many as that. Oh.
So yeah, somebody's just put he started straight after the Sweeney. That's about right, I would say. But it was he went on to the sort of mid-80s, and when it came towards the 90s, where film camera work was a bit more. You saw the quality of the film If you see what I mean, it was being done on video, I think, by then actually. So the picture quality was different to the old style Minder ones that were early done. I don't know. I just found Dennis Waterman's character was much more rougher and therefore much more likable, because you knew that Arthur was just going to do one over him or give him less money, like a third of what he was supposed to be getting, and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, Minder is a great program. One of those ones that I'd say is a highlight of the ITV sort of like network, because it incorporated comedy and drama and a bit of grit. And it sort of like filled in three sort of like things together, where the Sweeney was pure grit. Do you see what I mean? It was a hard hitting police, type thing. Minder was a comedy drama, but also also got that grit in it, because there'd be certain people that would try and kill Arthur or attack him with a double barrel shotgun, and Dennis Waterman would be there to save the day type thing. So Gary wanted to be Arthur. That's the thing. And Dennis Waterman never did.
No. Right. So that was the difference. Yeah. Then we've got Don't Sub Gaming saying hi to Tony.
Don't say hi to that bastard. Jesus, Tony. He gets far too much attention, doesn't he?
And then we've got Rocket Bunny saying Outland has the same now retro manual tech as Blade Runner and Alien. That's why I said they could be in the same universe previously.
Rocket Bunny's spot on.
Basically. Definitely. And then Sai says, "Hi, Tony." And then David Marshall, "I've never seen Outland, and I'm 58. Well, it's never too late."
Bloody hell, David, go see it now. I'll tell you what, look that film up. It really is worth your while.
It is, and I'm sure you could still pick it up at a reasonable price as well if you go. I think for the
the Arrow one is obviously the one that you'd get now, but the old Warner classics with the silver strip is probably still available at cheap price. It never seemed to sell out in any HMV that I ever went to.
The Arrow one will be pretty expensive. It's a fairly recent release. If you wait till Arrow sale later on in year, you might be able to pick it up half price, possibly by then. When is that? About November? Is it Arrow sale, something like that?
Yeah, well, Denny was telling me that Soylent Green and a few others are in Arrow's line now.
Oh wow,
coming out shortly.
Well, let's hope they come out, and then by the time we get to sale, might be able to pick them up easy.
Yeah, because I must admit I've bought Soylent Green a number of times, and I'm finding it difficult now to find the money to get that again. If you see what I mean.
Yeah, I'm happy with what I've got it on Blu-ray, but I'm happy with that. I'll tell you what, a film I thought of the other day, which Arrow could do. What about Logan's Run?
No, it's coming out.
Is it?
It's another one that's been heavily talked about just recently.
Are they doing that? Oh, yeah. That is a great film, Logan.
And that's got a Jerry Goldsmith score.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do.
And
I do know that.
I mean, I love it when they actually get to the old, the Ustinov.
Yeah.
He recites one of the poems that I was told at primary school, McCavity. And there's lots of little hidden things, like he says things because it's almost like he's a diddly old man who looks like he's probably got Alzheimer's, but he says things like, "Did you know cats have got 3 names?" I remember that being in Logan's Run, and I was going, "What do you mean he's got 3 names?" And he explains it. He says, they got the cat name, You know, the name that humans give cats, and then they've got their fancy name, which is what that's on their, you know, their birth certificate, their pedigree. And then there's the name that you'll never know, which is the name they give themselves because they can't talk in English. So you don't, you know. And I went, oh, bloody hell, yeah, three. Yeah, there's three names. Yeah. Bloody hell. Dogs are the same, I suppose.
Yeah.
But, you know, I was going... So it's got a great script, is what I'm trying to say. It's a hidden script in Logan's Run.
So when is Arrow releasing it? This year? Is it?
No, me and Denny talked on Monday because we haven't spoken in ages. He had a good 2-hour chat and he was telling me about, you know, life and what's going on. And then he was saying, oh, I've put in your Discord what the latest batch of films that are coming out from Arrow. And then he started talking about Logan's Run. Now, I don't know whether then he meant Logan's Run's been announced or whether Logan's Run is definitely down to be done. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure. But he mentioned Soylent Green. I mean, I could go to my Discord now and probably see what he posted. But I haven't had a lot of chance to even look at my own Discord, to be quite honest, you know, this week.
Anyhow, it's something I'd look forward to. Logan's Run, an Arrow release.
Oh, Logan's Run is a definite. I'll find the money somehow.
Yeah.
Title. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's.
Well, the Blu-ray's all right. Don't get me wrong. The Blu-ray's all right. They cleaned up some of the model work for the city.
Yeah.
Although you could still see that's as rough as anything.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, you know, when you're in the city, when you're coming out, you just notice some of the city skylines which were done as paintings on glass, you know, when you saw the dead city and then walking through water to going towards like what looks like Washington to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, you don't see Cleopatra's Needle, but you do see domed buildings. They look very much like Washington's White House. Type thing, but they meet Ustinov in a library, don't they?
Yeah,
that's where he is. He's living in a library or a school or some sort.
It's such a good film. I've got such a lot of good memories of seeing it at cinema and afterwards.
Yeah, the robot's a bit daft, but I
just love it. Yeah.
But I think a lot of school, you know, pre-teens and teenagers always froze the image. I think at that scene because they take their clothes off, don't they? And you want to see obviously a bit of boobs, don't you? And all that.
A bit of boobs.
The robot goes a bit mad, doesn't he? Saying plankton and fish and all of this sort of stuff, don't they? I mean, it's the worst looking I would say, and here's a question to everybody: what's the worst robots that have you seen in film? You know, looking robots. You know, I mean, robots that are, oh my god, couldn't they make that a bit better? You know, and I'm not talking like Saturn 3 or anything like that. I'm talking this thing looked like tinfoil. You know what I mean? It was bloody awful. You know what I mean? You could even see the lips moving behind the mouth. You know what I mean? With a slit it had in it, and you can see the lips moving. You know what I mean? It was bloody awful.
Yeah.
I'd certainly have it up there with worst robot in a film.
Oh, right. Well, there's a thing. Top 10 worst robots. Man, you probably couldn't get 10. That'd be difficult, maybe. Anyhow, we've got Tony saying, hi, sub, regarding your Minder question, not keen on Webster in the role. Got the DV set of the Waterman episodes. I think that seems to be a common opinion that Waterman is the best. And Si says, it's good, David. It's like a space version of High Noon. Oh, yeah.
It's what everybody compares it to is High Noon. And I did a review, didn't I, of it?
Yeah.
I did a film short or something like that.
Yeah. So if you checked in your playlist, people could find that, you know. A good thing.
I did that. I did that and Looker and
a
few films actually.
Yeah. Anybody who hasn't seen, have a look at what Delboy does. He does some great stuff on his site. Absolutely wonderful stuff. So go and have a look. It's it's a great site.
They don't subs just put Cybermen look a bit crappy, but I would say that Cybermen haven't been in film; they've been in TV.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't mind. I think the Cybermen, the very early ones, the Mondo Cybermen, that voice, it's the voice that makes them scary.
Yeah, but did you read the book of the Cybermen?
No, why is there a book on the Cybermen?
Yeah, it showed a timeline of when the Doctor met the Cybermen.
Oh, right.
And it also explained that when he first met the Cybermen, it was a very early time where there was more human parts to them than were mechanical.
Yes.
And the later times that the Doctors met the Cybermen, they've been more robot than human, which is why you don't see all that stuff on the front of them and that, because they've enhanced the cybernetics of it, so have made it into sort of like a plate of armor. But when you first watched them, they were in just like skin type stuff, because they were still using their natural human arms. Do you see what I mean? That part hadn't been replaced yet. So that's why they had a lot of equipment hanging over them, because they were units that were keeping the organs alive.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So that made sense. I went, oh right. So if the Doctor met them even if you made a Doctor Who episode now with the Cybermen, you could go back to an earlier stage where they look like that, because that's how they were at that time that he met them.
Actually, that's the clever thing. I know I don't want to go on about Doctor Who too much, but I love the way that Doctor Who, because at the time when these stories was written, nobody had any idea about what they were going to be. But it's good to, well, we do it in Star Trek as well. It's good to speculate, even though the writers at the time had no idea. They had no plans in mind, but we can all fit it in and say, oh yeah, they did this because of this. And we can do all that, which is very good. You know, it's like in Star Trek, look at the Romulans, how they developed, what was going on there. And the Klingons, how come the Klingons look very different in original Star Trek? And well, we all know budget was a bit and all that sort of stuff, but it's fascinating stuff. But then they're clever, because then they'll say, this happened. There's a lot. There ain't just one race of Klingons. There were different developments, and
that's right.
But
they tried to explain away, didn't they? How they got their ridges on their head.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be some sort of
disease. That it was when Discovery went too far, and they were just spent a whole season talking with these awful Klingons, which I just couldn't get on with. They were never Klingons. Fortunately, they stopped all that and realized nobody wanted it. Anyway, we got Tony, Muckman saying hi, Tony. We've got Tony saying hi, Jamie. Good post on the curse. That is AI. Oh yeah, the AI curse. Yeah. And then Sai says, I've just got back from seeing the 4K restoration of A Fistful of Dollars at the Tyneside Cinema. Wow. Just wow. Well, that's brilliant. What can I say? You had a real treat. What a treat. Absolutely. Big screen. What can you say? Which 3 from my top 10, Delboy?
Oh, I've got them written down as a list of films that I need to do. They were mostly foreign ones. I can't quite remember. They were in the lower part of the 10. So I'd have to look. I'll message him what they were.
Yeah.
Rather than delay, because I'd have to try and find it. But I write notes when I'm writing things down, and then when I watched his top 10, I went, "Oh, that's interesting." And then I tried to guess what his top one is, and I went, when he got to the this is my number 2. When he got when he got to number 1, I thought, yeah, I know what it's going to be. Do you know what I mean? Because I've heard him talk. I've heard him talk a lot.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So it was a bit of a no-brainer for the number 1 one. Not that I mean,
Incendies. Incendies, was it?
No, his top one was Aliens.
Oh, was it Aliens? Oh, right. Ah.
And that,
yeah,
and that,
I watched
and
it.
that,
I bet it's good. I bet you haven't watched it. I did watch it. Honest, I've forgotten. But yeah, he has. He's always talked about Aliens.
That makes sense because Aliens is a top film in a number of 80s type stuff.
Yeah,
and it was one that I watched over and over and over again myself. Yeah. But I've always turned around and said I liked Alien better than Aliens.
Yeah.
But
so
that's purely down to me, down to, do you like all out war or do you like more scenes of solitude? You know, like it's just 5 or 6 people against the malevolent force. You know?
Stronger sci-fi and horror, and I like that combination.
Yeah, sci-fi. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Aliens, and in fact, we've talked about this before. I've always turned around and said Aliens is an absolutely top, essential, fantastic film to watch. Is your taste something that's a bit more solitude or a bit more all-out action? And I like all-out action, but I always go back to films that are a little bit more the solitude type thing, like Set Free and all of those sort of, because it's more about what's going to happen. You know, it's the claustrophobic nature of it all. You know what I mean? Rather than all out guns, armies, war, shots fired, blah, 15,000 aliens coming at you. You know what I mean? You know, it's a brilliant, but I tell you what, I'll never knock Aliens, because Aliens is one of my top favorite films. I mean, it really is a fantastic film. I'll watch that over a lot of other action films of the time. I'll watch it over Commando. I'll watch it over Eraser. I'll watch it over, you know, I'd watch it over a number of films. You know what I mean? But it's still, I still prefer ones that have got less less going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's more nostalgia. The fact is that Alien blew me away when I watched it. It just totally blew me away. And therefore, it's got that factor in it. No matter how good, I did enjoy Aliens a lot, and I appreciate it. Alien just has that edge for me, I think, because of it. It was the first time seeing it, I was, oh crikey, you just knew it was so good. It was like watching Blade Runner for the first time. It was just, it blew you away, you know, on the cinema, just seeing it. Because, you know, then cinema, it seemed to me, because you didn't have, I did, when I was watching it, videos were they were hardly going, basically. Even in the rental shops, there weren't rental shops. There were the local shop doing, you know, having a few on a rack and what have you. But to see something on the big screen was just, it had a bigger impact, I think.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I remember when Aliens came out on video. It was the pan and scan edition.
Oh, right.
It wasn't even widescreen.
I bet it would have been a massive sellout on video.
Oh, I mean, I remember when they were showing close-ups, Sigourney's head was sort of like an oval rather than a circle. It was the pan and scan version was pretty atrocious.
Yes.
I mean, quite rightly, Muckman's just turned around and said he couldn't choose Alien because it's the 70s, which is true.
Yeah,
I was actually I was not actually getting it. I was not actually getting at that.
Yeah,
I was just actually getting at the difference between the two Aliens films.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah,
I mean, it's 79, and you know,
yeah. Which again, there's some of my, as I said, I found it easier.
I think both of you. I think both of you didn't put the thing in, did you?
Yeah.
Did you put the thing in?
Not in my top 10.
I don't think it was in. I don't think it was in James either. Actually,
no.
I'm not sure
I
on
put it because I thought everybody's going to put the thing in. No, Jamie had it. Didn't Jamie have the thing?
I think Jamie might have done, but I'm not.
Yeah,
you see, again, I'm not sure.
I think Jamie did. I'm sure he did.
James, you see, James was about 6 or so days ago for me, and yours was wasn't that far back, so I can sort of like remember you a little bit more.
Yeah. Right, let's get on with this.
Anyway, James just answered it, but I won't read out because you're going to read out all his comments.
Yeah. Rocket says David Marshall. I didn't watch it until the late 90s and kicked myself. I'd missed it when it was released. It was pretty much a flop at the box office, just breaking even. This is still Outland.
I think so.
Yeah. And then Rocket Boy says, "Si, how does 4K look at the cinema? Surely there isn't much difference than a normal projected film." That's interesting thought. Yeah.
I think when they do it 4K, they turn it into digital, don't they? Movie guy, I think explained that they do one of two things. They either use a digital projector, or the other one is they put the 4K onto new film.
Yeah,
it's one of two, and I'm not quite sure which that they do. But most cinemas now have got digital projectors.
Yeah,
because I think movie guy projects his laser discs through his camera system, but he also has a 35mm projector. And therefore he does all these films where he says, I'm going to watch things like The Matrix, but with the older surround sound setup.
Yeah.
Because he's not a big fan of how Atmos is being used at the moment, or sometimes Dolby Digital, because it's Dolby Digital HD now rather than DTS. And he's a big fan of DTS and Dolby Digital, the old style, because they had less subtlety in the speakers, so you got a better workout of your speakers. I have to say, I've got Dolby Atmos speakers, and I tend to choose 5.1 over it because Atmos is 9.1. And what can happen is that the center speaker where the vocabulary is supposed to come out, it's not quite as strong, because they've extended it to all the other speakers. Do you see what I'm trying to get at? They've extended it to all the other speakers. And, in 5.1, then you had less speakers. So, of course, the center speaker, which was one of them, in the arsenal of speakers, when you had a Dolby Digital surround sound system, the center speaker was usually the most expensive because it had the most shielding, because it had to be in front of the TV. Yeah. So you can imagine it had magnets in these speakers. You stick that in front of an old style CRT, and the magnet would ruin your TV very quickly. So there was a lot of shielding. You don't have that problem with plasmas and that.
What is Dolby Vision then?
Dolby Vision is the video, and Dolby Atmos is the sound.
Oh, so what is the difference between you've got? Is it that because you've got Dolby sound, you've got to have Dolby Vision?
No. Because you don't even have to have Dolby Vision. You could have HDR.
Right.
Dolby Vision, you have to pay a license because it's done through Dolby. But if you go for HDR10, it's free. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Both incorporate a file that explains to your telly what the color should be. It should be red, and this shade of red, and this shade of blue, and this side of green, and all that sort of stuff. That's what HDR is. It's high dynamic range. HDR. So that's why it's called HDR 10 and 10 plus.
Yeah.
And Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision is Dolby's version of that HDR 10 with the same HDR file that tells the screen what the colors should be. So what all that's happened with 4K is they've raised the resolution above what HD used to be, but that's not much. And HDR is the contrast, which is what 4K is all about. It's the contrast and colors and everything.
Yeah. All right. And then Muckman says, cheers, Tony. Fed up with AI, and now I've been given a bloody data center project to work on at work. Oh dear, that's going to go down well.
I've explained my position on AI a million times. Work is forcing me to use AI.
Yeah, it seems
and
to be.
I keep pushing back on it.
Yeah.
I use AI is a tool if it's used properly, like speeding up how to cure cancer.
That's fine.
Number crunching, all of that sort. It's all this chat GPT crap I don't like. And making films look like actors.
Yeah. And also, I'm fed up of I watch YouTube now, and I don't like the way that some of these commentaries are. You can tell they're AI commentaries because the words they're using are just wrong.
Well, yeah, because the AI can't work out legend and legend when it should be legend.
Out words, and also just the language. You can tell the way it has a certain style to it, and I don't like it. You just know it when you hear it. This has not been written by a human. We don't talk like that.
This is how I look at it. It's written by a human, but it's read out as an AI voice.
It's just awful. I don't like it.
And AI voice.
Oh, that voice. There's a bloke's voice that you recognize. You can tell him when he comes on.
It's things like it can't use numbers very well. It will say things like channel 724 or something, right?
Yeah.
But it should be channel 724 and all of this. This is where it goes wrong.
Yeah.
When you're reading stuff out.
Yeah. It does.
But again, if AI is helping people that are blind, to listen along to something like, then that, again, it's a good tool. I mean, Bob has made no qualms that his videos at the moment of Project Zomboid, right, which is a game. He's written a script, so he's written it himself, but it's read out in the voice characteristic of Morgan Freeman. That's fun, but it's a fun little thing. You could use it in the retro industry to show text adventures. Now, remember, text adventures are probably the most boring thing to stream because you're talking about text that comes on the screen that says you're in a room. To the left, there's this on the wall. To the right, there's this, and there's a table. What you're gonna do, right? Well, that's boring as a stream.
Yeah.
But if you showed that graphic as in the retro style, and then have the narration done by Morgan Freeman to read it out, that would make it interesting because it'd be like an audio book.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Yeah. So again, AI could be used there to make something interesting. I've definitely been entertained by Bob's videos of Project Zomboid. But I don't like it when they do things like Bruce Lee versus Godzilla videos or cats and dogs speaking or all of this sort of crap. You can go do one AI. It's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Actually, I say that, but there is I don't know. I got watching this video and I've watched it a few times. It's a Star Trek song. It's a Romulan song, and it's really good. I can't help myself. The tune is catchy. It's like a sort of cool jazz-like song, and you've got the Romulans, playing in this band, and you've got the female singer. And it's really good. I can't. The song is so catchy, and it works so well. It's like in a smoky kind of nightclub, and it's great. So
now you see that picture behind me, Captain Scarlet, right? Those are 3 independent pictures from the end titles melded together. Now, somebody could turn around and say, AI did that.
Yeah.
But I've used Photoshop for 20 odd plus years.
Yeah.
I know how to use masks. I know how to blend colors in and put color palettes in. I didn't do that picture behind me. I just know it's not AI generated.
Yeah.
Somebody has used Photoshop, and I've used Photoshop for years. I'll tell you what, for 4 years of my life, I cleaned up Marvel comic images. I got an A3 scanner down here. I scanned the art, and then I had to clean up, because do you remember comics that you used to buy that had color, right?
Yeah.
The color used to go over the outline. It used to, sometimes you'd have pictures of a character like Dennis the Menace, right? And he'd have red and black bands, and the red would go over the black. Do you know what I mean? Because the printer had shifted slightly, right?
Yeah.
That's what I did. I used to scan that in, and I then used to use a brush to capture the little dots that made up the image, right? Because everything was done with little dots. If you look closely at it, it's little dots. I made a brush of it, and then I would brush very closely to where the black outline is and make it so that the black, the red didn't go over the top of anything, and then go over the black with proper black. So in other words, everything looked like it was perfectly printed. And I did that with all my Spider-Man comics, because they've all got misprints. Because printing it's a 4-color process. It went over the print 4 times, and you could never align it properly all the time. So colors would merge. You put red with yellow, and you get another color, and that meant it's the wrong color. So because it was digital comic preservation, it was called the DCP, right? I corrected the print. Now, I got criticism. Right, one said, "Well done, fantastic, it looks brilliant." The other one is, "But you're supposed to be preserving how it was, and what you're doing is you're correcting it." But what I'm trying to get at is, I should think now the DCP group that's out there that brings out the comics and puts them out in torrents every month, right? They're probably using AI.
Yeah,
they will be using AI.
Yeah,
I don't download comic digitally anymore. I stopped doing that. But it's an interesting subject, because AI, that would be something that somebody would say that's acceptable to do, and I'd say no, it's not. There are people out there that are right now scanning 16th century documents, right?
Oh God,
and they will have a team on there with computers and Photoshop tidying that up and making that image and all of that sort of stuff. You're taking that person away. That's where I go, bollocks to you.
Yeah, because you can't, with historical documents, you can't. It loses the authenticity.
I do not mind AI looking at that scan and seeing if it can find an imprint that's been left behind that shows a shadow of something that went on, like it was pressed against a desk or something. You can see the text that it was leaning against, or something like that.
But what if it started correcting?
Sod AI taking away the job of somebody that would clean up the image.
Because there might be spelling mistakes.
I hate it when they use AI to correct it and all that.
Yeah, that would be terrible. That would be atrocious to do that.
Yeah.
Right. We've got now Tony saying, I have the Blu-ray set of the $3 films and never watched them. Only seen them on TV. Another good reason not to buy hardly anything new. Better seeing stuff I already have. Well, there you are.
Yeah.
You need to get watching your collection.
And we must never forget as well, I've got no problem really with a lot of things. I mean, I'm a physical media guy, but I watch stuff on TV. Streaming is a service where you are not getting a great picture regardless because of compression. It doesn't matter. I don't care what it is. Compression is there. Yeah. I want full non-compression if you can get it. You're still getting compression with a 4K disc. Don't get me wrong, They've got to. It won't fit on the disc otherwise. But I tell you what, it's nothing like streaming over your Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah.
Right? When you got it over Wi-Fi, I mean that's compressed, and compression routines are getting better. But I'd still have a disc over any day. But it's just that for me at the moment, I'm having to watch things late at night when I go to bed, and I haven't got a 4K player over the other side of the bed. I haven't got a 4K TV. I've only got a HD TV and a Blu-ray player. So, most of the time I am watching stuff off my NAS. It's a digital version of the film streamed, and of course it's compressed. It's got to be. Can't be any other way.
I'd just like to say, because I say this all the time, is sometimes I just want to see the film, and if it's only DVD, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't mind if the quality is not as good, because on modern ones they are upscaled, and sometimes they look really good. I'm not saying really old DVDs sometimes don't as much.
Yeah,
the quality, but over recent years the quality is really good, and you can put them on and you can just watch it. So that's why I never knock DVDs. I'm got a lot of affection for DVDs, and I'm really, if you want to watch a film sometimes, don't worry, just watch the film and you can get as much enjoyment from a DVD.
Yeah,
I think so.
It's about the film. It's about the product that's on the disc. It doesn't matter about the packaging too much. Packaging's nice, I've learned that I was stupid buying all them steel books. Really, it should have been about the film that you were buying.
Yeah,
that's ultimately what you're buying it for, surely.
I think one of the negative sides of 4K is that the extras on some of them now are not that good, whereas DVD and some imagine even some Blu-rays, but a lot of the Blu-rays as well have good, like that Cool Hand Luke had brilliant extras on it as a Blu-ray, but some of the 4Ks they don't have good extras. And also, don't you think that they should include a Blu-ray disc with a 4K copy?
I do.
They're not doing that.
They used to do it at the beginning. I don't know why they don't do that now.
No, they don't do that at all. I think sometimes people are getting a poor deal for some. That's another reason why I think now, if I'm going to buy a 4K copy, do I really want to spend that a lot extra money? 4K is now 35 quid or so, up to 40.
Yeah.
You can get a Blu-ray at least £10 cheaper, or much less than that. You can get
nearly 15 now.
You say to yourself, well, I might as well get the Blu-ray.
And if you watch certain channels, like, I don't know, what's he called, that guy that I sometimes watch, Mid Media Matters,
Mid Media Level,
right?
Mid Media Level.
He constantly goes on about how much Sony costs. He said, I think he was talking about the Bone Temple this week. He said it's $49. He said it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
$49 for this steel book that comes out from Sony. And you've got no choice other than the steel book to buy it. And he constantly goes on, and I sort of semi-agree with him. I go, it's
getting too much.
I don't think it was that expensive over here. I didn't pay £49 for it. I know that. I think America's got the. I mean, it was apparently, according to him, if I remember rightly, he said it was originally advertised at $69 on Amazon, but like Amazon always said, they usually drop the price when it actually comes out. You get it at the lowest price, and I think he got it for 49 or 44, but he said it's still too expensive. It's 10 over the rest of anybody else that brings out a 4K release, and he doesn't understand it. And I have to agree with him. I said, it's about the film.
Yeah. Well, if you've noticed, it's definitely over last year, 4K have gone up. They've definitely gone up, because you have a look on HMV and that, with all the they don't have that 2 for £30 anymore. They
No.
don't want that. You've got to spend 50 quid on 3 to get a deal. And if you just buy it with not on a deal, well, there you are. You're going to pay. You could be paying up 35 quid. You know, easy. It's just. I don't know. Maybe it's to do with what's happening in the world. I don't know if that's had an effect or why, but the prices have definitely gone up, haven't they? Everything, I suppose, is going up. But that's why I always say this is it's well worth looking at sites like Music Magpie and World of Books, because you can pick up some really good bargains at good prices. I mean, you've had it as well. Sometimes they send you discs, DVDs or Blu-rays, which are still in the wrapping.
Yeah.
You still get that. You can get some absolute bargains. Okay, you might, if you're unlucky, get something that's not as good quality. But generally speaking, I think you do get a reasonably good, deal. And I say, if it's just the the box, the Blu-ray, you can easily change it. Just get another one and take out the slip and put it in.
Yeah.
And then you've got a new copy. It looks brand new. So that's what I do anyhow. But the prices have definitely gone up.
Yeah.
It looked good, Rocket Bunny. It was the whole scale of it on the big screen, which was just awesome. Yeah, I can imagine. It's just they look great.
That's a fistful of dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. And then Muckman says, I bet that was great, Si, with regard to a fistful of dollars. Yeah. And then Jamie says, I've only bought 3 Blu-rays this month. Shock horror. Only 3. Oh. So are we going to get a video? Are you holding over to another month?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the nice thing is, I bet you the 3 Blu-rays that he's bought are ones that he can talk to the end of the earth.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a great person there. I think you could do that. It doesn't matter if you've only got 3. You can just talk about them and show them off.
I'm just trying to think. We're now on the 29th of April. If I think about it, I've had 3, 5. Yeah, I think I've had 11.
Yeah, that's quite a lot. Yeah.
But remember, a couple of those were the cheap ones. Like I bought that Amicus from Italy.
Yeah,
that was cheap.
Well, they all count.
The From Beyond the Grave was cheap.
Yeah. I think Jamie's not been spending as much money, hasn't he? He's been trying to cut back a bit. So, that's what you've got to do. Not get everything. Yeah. And then we've got Tony saying, Jamie, try sabotage it. Seriously, though, the billionaires would rather waste precious resources on such things like water, which I understand these centers require in huge quantities, while, continues, people in parts of the world have no fresh water. What can I say? You can't argue with that. That is true.
No.
You can't argue with that. And Si says, it was Jamie, I'm going next Saturday to watch A Few Dollars More. Then a week after The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. They're doing This Is the Way season. They've got some samurai films on too. That would interest them. Jamie, yeah. That's great. And then Rocky Bunny says, I noticed that Amazon are now doing the same 3 4K Blu-rays for £50 on the same films as HMV. I only noticed the other day as the promo print is in a really small font. Laugh out loud. Well, I think they do. They look at HMV. I'm sure Amazon do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they're doing a price comparison.
Yeah, they do. Jamie, Just one purchase for me this month. That Eureka German Western box set. Oh, that sounds good. Which arrived today. Looking forward to seeing those. It sounds pretty good, that. And then David, oh yeah, Outland never seems to be on streaming or Sky. If anyone knows if it's streaming, that would be good. I suspect it's not on any streaming channels.
I think Size answered this a little bit later.
Oh, right, has he? Oh, right. Okay, we'll get to that one now. I wasn't sure about that Western box set. Well, you've got it. Don't subgaming. Ian Delboy, if I say James Coburn to you, which film do you think of first? Oh, crikey, I know which one straight away. What do you think of first?
The very first thing I've put is straight underneath it. Our man,
I didn't say that, and that's exactly what I thought of.
And it's that bloody ringtone on that phone.
Yeah, the Flint films. Yeah, that's what I think.
You know, our man. Was it our man Flint?
Yeah, that's right. Then it's making me think, what other films has he been in? I'm trying to think of James Coburn films.
Well, I already mentioned he was in Looker. He's been in a few.
He must have been in. Is he in the Dirty Dozen?
He's in Westerns, yeah.
But that's a war film, isn't it?
The thing about James Coburn, he's also in that Fistful of Dynamite.
Looker, yeah.
Because the thing about James Coburn is I only ever think of his films if I've seen it recently. Yeah. So Looker is a film with Albert Finney, but I remember him being he was the evil guy. He was the bad guy that was in it. And Looker was one of those films that I just remember as a video again in the 80s that I just basically liked. You know what I mean? And it got overlooked again. It wasn't a particularly great film. But yeah, he's been in a lot of films, and we'll all be kicking ourselves when we say, "Oh, of course, why haven't we mentioned that?" But yeah, he was in A Fistful of Dynamite. I do know that because I bought that recently.
Yeah,
it's only just come out again, I think, as a 4K or something.
I'm sure he's in Dirty Dozen. He has to be in that. I think he has.
Yeah, right. I think he has. Yeah.
And then Tony says, I have all the other Calmer novel adaptations on DVD, Jamie. Really enjoyed them. They're like spaghetti westerns, but more tongue-in-cheek. They don't take themselves too seriously. Could say they are an acquired taste. Interesting. So it would be interesting what Jamie thinks of these German westerns. Rocky Bunny says, David Marshall, you can rent or buy the stream on Apple and Amazon and YouTube in the UK ATM at the moment, that is. Yeah, can't see anywhere showing it free though. It's been on TV many times though.
YouTube was the thing that sticks out there, because I think I've seen Outland advertised as a YouTube film.
Is it free on YouTube?
I think you can go to a certain channel where it would be, but it's actually a YouTube buying thing, where you rent it for $3.50 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I do know that there's ways of seeing films for nothing on YouTube, and if you look hard enough, you'll find it.
Yeah. And then David says, I've been watching a few Hong Kong action movies the last few months. My son bought The Killer on 4K last weekend. What a film. I know Jamie will like this. Yeah. The Killer is a masterpiece, as is Hard Boiled. Hard Boiled gets mentioned a lot. Yeah. So yeah, there's quite a few of these coming out in the new releases with all this wonderful artwork. You see them with all this wonderful artwork.
Arrow and that,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's been a big rise in an interest, I should say, in these films. Massive interest in them, which you didn't get a few years ago, which is good to see. And then Tony says, I think YouTube may have censored my comment with regard to Coburn. Duck, you sucker, AK, fistful of dynamite.
Yeah, because that's what it's called, Duck You Sucker, AK.
Yeah.
I can never remember the Duck You Sucker bit.
Yeah. Muckman says, David, have you seen Hard Boiled? It's an excellent film. Oh, sorry, I had to get that joke in, but nobody laughs. Yeah. David, Outlandish, free on YouTube on a channel called Diego Castellano.
Catalano, yeah.
Catalano. Oh, what if it's free? Make a
like
note.
I said, if you look hard enough,
yeah,
you'll find one.
You'll find it. Right. So it is there. That's brilliant. That's great. I'm glad people can have helped you, hopefully, to watch it. Muckman, this is David, he says, Muckman, he bought Hard Boiled this weekend before. Really, really good, isn't it? Yeah. And then Tony says, two good actors together in Man from Colorado. Oh, of course, yeah.
Well, it was him. He's gonna say that in Tony York corner, weren't he? I mean,
Glenn Ford is a great actor, and William Alden.
Do you prefer Glenn Ford or Henry?
Henry Ford.
What?
No, he's a car man, isn't he, Henry Ford? I just like
throwing names in. Anyway.
Yeah. Apparently, he wasn't such a nice guy, actually. What I've heard about Henry Ford, even if he did do all designing. And then Si says, Hard Boiled is one of the greatest action movies of all time. Wow, that's quite a statement. It is very good, yeah.
We're talking about John Woo now, aren't we?
I don't know is that a John Woo film, Hard Boiled?
I thought it was. I'm going to have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure it is, isn't it? Boiled.
Oh, this is interesting. Tony says, personally, I prefer Glenn Ford.
Yeah, it's John Woo. Yeah.
Sorry?
It is. It's John Woo. I know it was.
Yeah. Personally, I prefer Glenn Ford and William Alden in westerns rather than John Wayne. Now, that isn't interesting. They were also more versatile actors when in other roles, in my opinion. You know, you've probably got a good point there that the other roles that they were in were ones where they could show that they were actors. Whereas John Wayne, the problem with John Wayne, as much as people may like him, he always was John Wayne. That is the problem of being John Wayne. His performances were always John Wayne, and they were not. Si says SOB is famous. Famous for the Julie Andrews boob scene. She gets to show her boobs. I didn't know that.
Well, it was interesting that he was mentioning about the actors in westerns. I prefer Henry Fonda or Jimmy Stewart in westerns than John Wayne.
Yeah. Which again,
I did say to you the other day as well that it's well documented that when people went to Star Trek conventions, DeForest Kelley always kept talking about all of the westerns that he'd ever done, And I when I look back, I go, I can't think of one film he's been in as a Western, but he was in 50 or 60.
Yeah.
If you actually look, you'll find, oh, was he in that? Bloody hell.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that. Westerns are one of those great little areas for you to look at as a film.
They are.
As a person that's looking into film, where you find.
I always say Westerns.
This actor was in that. Bloody hell.
Westerns haven't gone away. People have said they've declined. Yeah, they had a certain height, but they haven't gone away. And they're the sort of thing that have adapted, I think, to modern era. You can still do Westerns. And there's people like, I know he gets a lot of criticism, but Kevin Costner is a great champion of Westerns. Yeah. And, you know, he does these TV series and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, good luck to him for keeping the Westerns alive. But as I say, as a genre, it's still going along. And Australia, as I say, Australian Westerns. Fantastic. So Julie Andrews got her boobs out in SOB.
You know what? I thought it was those Blake films that she got her boobs out. Was she also? Did she also do that? Was she also in a film called Victor Victoria?
Yes, she was. Yeah.
And didn't she get her boobs out? Didn't she get her boobs out in that?
I don't know. I've not seen it. But, so there we are. Everybody's rushing now to watch Julie Andrews get her boobs. And then, are you at it again, Si? So he says, yeah. And then he says, ooh, me. And then Si says, Paul Newman is the coolest actor of all time. Oh, wow. That's a good.
They did that. I think he was crowned king of cool at one point.
Yeah, I can see him being that now. Yeah, and here is another one. Never been a fan of John Wayne. His acting is very one-dimensional. Yes, he's just John Wayne. I've said it. Yeah, that's what he is. And Don't Sub Game says, Si Robson, to me, the coolest is a tie between Steve McQueen and Clint Eastwood. Both very cool. They are very cool. Yeah. What can you say?
I mean, what can you say about Clint Eastwood, really, in westerns?
Yeah.
I mean, Christ.
Yeah.
But as an actor and a director overall as well. But I always found whenever I watched a western with Jimmy Stewart, he always played a character that was likable. Really,
yeah.
I would be engrossed watching the film to see how he bumbled his way through the film. Do you see what I mean? It was like he had this way about him.
Yeah,
that I just liked. I could watch a Jimmy Stewart film like I could watch a Jack Lemmon film. You know what I mean? And you know how much I like Jack Lemmon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Clint Eastwood's had a very rich career.
Rich, very.
It's lots of different types of films he's been in. I think that there's one genre he hasn't done, though. He hasn't done any sci-fi, as far as I remember. I may be wrong.
He did do that one on the moon, didn't he?
Which one's that?
That space. What where the old age.
There's the astronauts. They're all old astronauts.
Yeah, they have to go up and do it. They have to go. It's not really science. It's not really science fiction.
It's more, It's not really sci-fi, is it? No, but he's a great actor. I just think he's great.
It's called Space Cowboys, isn't it?
Yeah. You've got to have a lot of respect for him. His career, to have such a good career. And then Si says, Nobody's Fool with Paul Newman is a film I highly recommend. For me, it's his second best performance. Fantastic. And I really must check a bit more out of Paul Newman. And then Jamie Ian, I would highly recommend the Western. The Life and Times of Judge Roy Bean, starring Paul Newman. It caught me by surprise. It's brilliant. So we're getting a lot of interesting recommendations for Paul Newman now. That's good.
Yeah.
Good shout out, Dot Sub. Yeah. And then Tony says, completely agree, Jamie. Take him out of westerns, and there's nothing much left. Yeah, maybe it was due to him making so many westerns very early in his career. I think that's true because he made absolutely loads of B-list, even probably C-list westerns in 1930s. Did John Wayne? Absolute stack of them.
Well, you saw him, didn't you, playing a detective in a New York suburb or something? He just stood out as, you're not acting very well, are you? I mean, I was looking for the horse with the milk or something. You know
yeah. I mean? Well, he even did one in this country.
Yeah, he did it in London.
When he came over as a detective.
Yeah, in London.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called. Is it? Oh, somebody will know in the thing. Yeah.
Matlock or something like that. I can't remember.
It's something. I don't know.
Still at the beginning with M anyway.
It's sure. Still John Wayne, isn't it? I can't hide it, you know.
Yeah.
And he's got no emotions, you know. Even
Brannigan. There you are. Some Tony York came out with it. Brannigan.
Yeah. He's got, you know, when he's with a woman, it's the same. Then he'll go, "I love you," and it's like that, but it's always done in this way. He's just got no emotion. Absolutely rubbish. That's John Wayne, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then
I always expect him to do Shakespeare with a Stetson on.
Yeah. Could you imagine him doing Shakespeare? Yeah.
To be or not
to be. That is the question.
Where's my milk?
Yeah. Roger says, but his screen presence and charisma more than make up for his lack of acting ability. He's my very old man's favorite. Yeah, my granddad, he loved him.
Well, you see, when he was in westerns, he had that bulk to him. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's sort of like he was like a wilderness man. I can imagine him being even in the Rockies or something. You know, being in a forest.
Yeah.
Which would not be a western, but I can imagine him. Yeah, that'd work. But stick him in a city or something. Say he's wearing a Magnum shirt with a pair of shorts. No, I just go, no, don't imagine him like that at all.
No,
I mean,
and then Dave Marshall says, "The Sting, what a film! I love anything with Robert Shaw." The Sting, it's one of those classic films, isn't it? It's one that we've talked about before. It's at that period.
Don't mention The Sting, otherwise Si will start talking a lot about it.
But yeah, I remember it being on everywhere at the cinema when it first came out. It was everywhere, and everything about it was really promoted, massively promoted, and the music, of course, that got promoted. It was everywhere. And then Tony says, I can understand that, Rocket. He was certainly very watchable in his Western comfort zone. Yeah, he was comfortable. That's it. That's what he was. Yeah, he could eat his beans and sit there around and drinking his coffee.
I don't think he was very good in How the West Was Won. He was in his Civil War sort of stuff, wasn't he?
He wasn't in it that much. It was almost as if they thought, we don't want him in it too much.
No, but he was being out acted, wasn't he, by the person he was working with on that scene.
Yeah, he probably just came along for a day, did his scene, took the money, and off he went. But that's what it was.
Yeah.
He probably didn't mix with other actors. I doubt it. Yeah. And then Si says, David, The Sting is my favorite film of all time. Robert Shaw is so good in it. There you are. Have we told you? Don't mention The Sting.
Yeah, don't mention The Sting. Honestly, Si will be talking about it for the next 10 hours.
And then Muckman says Paul Newman is great in Road to Perdition. I mentioned that, didn't I? I think that his last film, I think.
Road to Perdition.
Yeah. And is that the Tom Hanks one? Tom Hanks is in that, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he is. I'm not sure.
It's a really late one in 90s, isn't it? It's that.
Yeah.
And then
I think it's one I've only seen once.
Yeah. And The Color of Money is one of my faves.
Yeah, but I prefer The Hustler. I really do.
And then you see here, I knew we'd get one in question, top 3 Newman films. I haven't seen enough, but I think I would put let's see. I would put Sting. I'd put second. I'd put Cool Hand Luke first. The third one, I don't know. I think I'm going to like The Verdict, but I've not seen The Verdict, so I can't really include that. I think what else I've seen. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I said that one. Yeah.
Yeah, but you see, it's top 3, not 5.
Yeah.
Where's this? Can you not count?
No.
All of this cheating that you do.
I can't. I'm not counting because
top 3. It says top 3. It doesn't say give me all of the films that you can think of. It says top 3.
Yeah, well, I have thrown out a few there. Even though I'm dyslexic at maths. I am. I think I am, actually. But anyhow, that's another story. Anyhow, we'll let you put your half penny in.
Well, I mean, it's hard. I mean, I'd have to have The Hustler in it. Yeah. I'd have to have The Sting in it. And the third one then is sort of like where do you go? And when you mentioned The Verdict, I went, oh yeah, that is a very good film. Very powerful. And then, of course, you've mentioned a load of others that are around it. And I'm going, yeah, Butch Cassidy, yeah. See what I mean? So the third one's going to be in one that I'd change a lot. But I think I'll go with The Verdict. Yeah.
Okay. Brilliant.
Absolutely. I do like Courtroom.
I know you do. Yeah. I know you mentioned before.
And it is a personal choice. It's not what is the definitive top 3 Newman films.
Yeah, and they vary, and we just.
And I remember getting so excited when the video and the widescreen version of The Hustler was coming out by 20th Century Fox, right? And I remember getting that and watching it and going, "Oh wow, what a film!"
Yeah.
Oh, blown away.
Fantastic.
Absolutely blown away by it. And I just went, that's my pool film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Size put The Sting, Nobody's Fool, and The Verdict.
Yeah. So you can see in there that The Hustler is not mentioned. And I can totally get it. Why it's not, but
And Jamie says, I still haven't seen Nobody's Fool. I know it's highly regarded. Don't think it's had a Blu-ray release yet. Possibly, I don't know.
Possibly not. I'm just going to have to get up and stand around a bit. Sorry,
Jamie, I've only got a DVD of it. There you are. So maybe.
All right. Sorry, I didn't know if you heard that. So I've just got to stand up and.
Yeah, it's all right. You got to do it. Don't worry, lad. And here we are here. It said, Jamie says, it's the same with Bridges of Madison County, an Eastwood film I've never seen, but heard it's a great film. I've never seen it, but I agree. I've heard people mention that one. I know, is that a later one? Is that the one with Meryl Streep in? I may be wrong on that one. I think it could be. Yeah. Again, a different Eastwood film. Again, this is what. That's why you have to admire Eastwood's, you know, the range of films that he did and directed, absolutely brilliant. Right, we've got here Tony says, Minder started in 1979, I think. Dennis Waterman carried on straight after Sweeney finished in 1978. Ah, right, I get you. So it was, so it's the 70s. It's the 70s thing. Ah, right. And then David says, he says, I've never seen Sting 2, so yeah. Actually, nobody mentions Sting 2. I've never seen it. I don't know. Is it a bad film, Sting 2? I've never heard anybody mention or talk about it, suggesting that it's not a particularly good film. I presume it was it a box office failure? I don't know much about it, or well, I don't know anything about it because it's just not mentioned. Sting 2. And then Sai says, "Me neither, David. I'm scared to ruin the original's legacy." Maybe that is probably a lot of people may have felt we don't need it and we don't want to watch it. Maybe it was a complete disaster. I don't know. I know exactly how you feel. I feel, man, you can feel that a lot of great films. You think, why we don't need remakes? And I know we often mention this every week about remakes, but there are certain films which, yeah, okay, remakes fine, but then there are others which are almost sacred, and you think, no, 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 don't do a remake. And I get you totally. You know, why would you do a remake?
I'm still doing my stretches, but I couldn't
That's
help but
okay.
hear. I couldn't
Have
help
you
but
heard
hear.
of Sting
I
2?
think it's frowned upon, the Sting
Yeah.
2, in the same way that Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas did that gangstery film. It's sort of like it came too late. It was out later. This is from memory though, but I'm pretty sure it was frowned upon a little bit because it did take away from the first film. It wasn't as good, and that Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas was what you got these two old fogies doing a gangster film during this. It didn't work.
Yeah.
And that was listed as one of the golden, like bad egg of the year or something.
Really? Oh yeah, they have those awards, don't they? Is it the Razzies?
The Razzies or something like that. If it was equivalent to it, it was equivalent to it. Was you talked about it in the same breath as Catwoman? You know what I mean? It was like, but I won't be long. Just a couple of minutes. I'm just stretching my legs because
you've got to, with your
my back and legs are playing up a little bit. But.
It's all right. Yeah. And Tony says George Cole was so good in as the shady Spiv character, beginning as Flash Array in Saint Trinian's films. Oh crikey, yeah, Saint Trinian's films. He's in those, isn't he? Going back all those years ago. Yeah. And it does pop up in a few films, doesn't it? Early on in that sort of era. What can I say? But he made that character. I suppose he's always going to be known in that role in the Minder, isn't he? He's always going to be that. You know, sometimes you get attached, you know, remembered for certain roles, and that's how he's going to be remembered. Definitely. And then hi to you, Del. Yeah, we know what he did there. Tony says, this bloody phone's just reminded me to take a break from the screen. He'll be telling me it's time for bed again soon. Oh, the cocoa will have to come out, Tony, and they will be all ready for bed. The phone's nuisance. Reminding you. Oh, yeah, what can I say? Sometimes I hate my phone. It just comes up with stupid messages that come on or people send in from, I don't know where they come from. I suppose it's like spam, really. stupid messages. Yeah, I know exactly how you feel. Yeah, and they have a good laugh there. Yeah. Don't Sub says, I always thought Doctor Who Cybermen look crappy and fake, not strictly robots, but close enough. I think it's how they developed. I enjoyed it. I think, as I said, when I was watching, sort of, when I've been reviewing a lot of old Doctor Who, and when I watched those early Mondo Cybermen, I think they were creepy. I think they were creepy as hell. Really. And they're only that way because of the budget and the design that they had to have, and it worked well for a time. And they just developed over time. But yeah, I can understand people. If you're not a big Doctor Who fan and you see them as well, you think, God, this is shit. These are crappy. But, we forgive a lot in Doctor Who. If you're a Doctor Who fan, you forgive a lot, and I find them interesting to see how they developed in that early era, It's just a fascinating, and it shows you because the fact is, in Peter Capaldi era, they brought them back. Because I think there was still an interest in that early sort of Cyberman. I think and it worked as well. They did a good story. I think it was with Bill, the companion.
It explained that Bill's character explained how the little line is underneath their eyes because it's a teardrop.
Yes, that's right. Yes, yeah.
But I've already explained here that because I saw what Don't Sub Gaming put, and I said, but that's not a film.
Yeah.
But the reason the Cybermen are like they are is because if you go back in time, they were more human than they were robot. And they got more robotized as you go through the years that you saw them later.
But I was watching the extras and the people who were involved in designing them and what have you. They had to just think on their head, and how they were going to do it. And
the thing about it is what I would like is if they brought the Cybermen back again in Doctor Who, and they probably will. I think they should show them as they originally were, like go back in time and see the Doctor come across the Cybermen at an earlier part of their life, before Mondo was blown up and all of that sort of stuff.
That's right.
Because they nearly did it with Capaldi's last story, didn't they? Where they showed the Doctor was regenerating, and it was at the time when William Hartnell's character was going to be regenerating.
Yeah.
And that last one is the 10th planet.
Yeah.
And so you could have actually had the remnants of a Cyberman walking around the planet, because it was the end of that life cycle for William Hartnell.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. But I think that's down to the fact you have to talk to Kit Pedler, don't you, to probably have them in.
I mean,
so probably a licensing thing.
Then the 10th Doctor, they tried something. The guy who plays Trigger in Fools and Horses was in.
Well, he brought them back, but they explained that the Cybermen are not the Cybermen in this universe. They're
exactly
multiverse type thing.
I didn't like that idea as much. I don't think it worked as well. It didn't work as well, I don't think. But I can see why they did it. I can see why they did it. And then we've got Sandy saying, "Howdy, Phil Buffs. Hello. Hope you're okay." And then Tony says, "I like the look of those early Cybermen, sort of a retro appearance with huge chest-mounted weapons." Yeah, I get that. You totally on that one. Tony says, "Hi, Sandy." And then Si says, "Is there an actor, alive or dead, you wish was cast as the Doctor?" For me, I'd have to say Rick Mayall would have been a great casting in the role. I know that. I think you've mentioned that before. I get you. I do get you there. It's always interesting. Who would have
I mean,
made it?
he did a series of dramas called Rick Mail Presents. I think there was about 10 episodes where they were all sort of like people like Helena Bonham Carter was in one, if I remember rightly, and a few things. He does do drama, but I do think that if Rick Mail would have been cast at the, say at the time that they were looking when Sylvester McCoy picked up, he would probably have played on the comedy side of things too much, I think. But I would say it's not a bad one, because they turned around and said Mr. Bean character. Got his name now.
Rowan Atkinson.
They said he'd have played a great Doctor, and he did it. He did it for children in need, didn't he?
That's right. Yeah, that's special.
And you could see there. Yeah, he could have played a Doctor.
I always think
I'd have to think seriously now. Who's alive or dead that could play?
I still say Sean Pertwee. Why can't Sean Pertwee have done it?
Oh yeah, and you could have Sean Bean.
Yes, yeah, Sean Bean, Sean Pertwee. Yeah.
Well, there's quite a few people. I mean, there's what's his name? See, this is where I'm saying I wish I could remember names really well, but
what I would like to say is I'm afraid that they're not going to pick any of these people that we want. I suspect they may well go for an unknown one again. Oh, not necessarily unknown, but not that well known. Yeah. I think that's how they'll go with new Doctor. We can only hope that R.T. Davis is not involved in it.
Yeah,
that's all we can hope for. Please,
Timothy Dalton could have played a good one.
Yeah, he has been in it, of course.
As long as Simon McCorkindale is not playing it, I don't care. Yeah, he'd do his Manimal role.
Yeah. And I read that Russell T Davies is probably going to be leaving early. They may even have all gone already, and they're going to look for somebody new.
There was a guy today that's just brought out and says, "Here's the things we know about the Christmas special." No. And I was going, for goodness sake. And it was all about, we know full well that Rose is coming back, and that's what that's all about. We're definitely going to see the Doctor at the end. And I'm going, all of this stuff is sort of like a bit obvious what you're talking about.
What they do is, I've watched one and then switched them off. They get some article from some news thing, and they put it up, and it annoys me because I think it's lazy. I honestly do. They look through, film that, and that's their video. Saying, "Oh, look here, it says here so and so, and then it says here so and so." It's to me, it's lazy YouTubing. It's I don't like it. They can't be creative other than just looking at a screen and then create a video. I just find it lazy.
Half an hour of trash.
Yeah, and it's all speculation. It's not fact, is it? It's never fact.
Yeah, because it always says, "Here's what we know." And I'm going, no, you don't know that at all.
Yeah, no. Right,
it's an obvious assumption that will happen, because, as you know, if the BBC have turned around and said we're going to have a new set, Doctor Who will return, then you think to yourself, the Christmas special is obviously then going to show a new Doctor. Well, that's an obvious, isn't it? Yes. But you don't know that that's going to happen. You haven't seen it. There's no filming that you've seen because he even turned around and said, this guy, they haven't started filming it yet. Well, then if they haven't filmed nothing yet, why? So I'm just it's starting to get to me an awful lot on YouTube. Every time I turn my phone on, right? There's something about the flat earthers.
Yeah.
Right. which I get coming up all the time. So here's another guy that's turned around and said that it was a big balloon that went up. All that sort of shit.
Actually, the funniest thing I've seen this week on YouTube, I don't know anybody else, but I thought it was hilarious, was Russell Brand trying to look through a Bible of the supposed quote that he was supposedly reading. In other words, he was just walking around with the Bible. I have no idea. It's just used for effect to get himself off the hook for being an absolute sod, horrible person he is. And he suddenly got Christian religion. And there he is doing interview. And it was brilliant because they said, he couldn't find the chapter. He couldn't find one. He didn't know the Bible. It was all just, it was a brilliant. And Piers Morgan, not everybody likes, but he's very clever at interviews. And he didn't say nothing. And he kind of looked at the camera knowingly, not saying anything. And you knew, thinking he's a complete tosser, this bloke, lying to his thing, flicking the Bible. It's brilliant. Trump does it as well, walking around with the Bible, as if we think any more of, it's a load of bollocks, to use your expression.
Bollocks.
Yeah. It is, isn't it? It's just bollocks.
You got to say it like that, you see. You got to say it with malice. Bollocks.
Bollocks.
Make it work.
That's what it is. Oh, dear. But Trump does it as well.
Yeah. Enough said about him.
Yeah. Sorry, Sandy. Yeah. And then David says, has anyone ever watched a movie and didn't think much of it, but revisited it a month or a year later and then thought it was great? I did it with The Shining. Oh, well, that's interesting. I think we have had this question before, but
I've had it in my blog.
I always forget what I would choose.
I'd have to go to my blog notes because I'm pretty sure I've had that in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Can't remember what I said.
An obvious one, and I always say it, is because I can't think of any others. Oh,
you said it the other day. All the President's Men. Well, you said that you didn't. You've got. I said I've got a bigger appreciation of it.
Yes.
I think you said you always liked it. I can't remember now.
Yeah, I'm right. I did like it, and it gets better. The more you watch it, you dig in deeper. But even when I liked it, I knew that it wouldn't be everybody's cup of tea. People think there wasn't much going on.
I think my full answer was that I put myself off watching it because it was going to be highly around the Watergate scandal, which I didn't really fully understand as in the time that it came out.
Yeah,
but I understand it now more, so I got a better appreciation of it. And then when I watched it, and then I went on, and then when I was doing my review of it, I found out so much more. Like, they wanted to get all the detail right. They even went to the newspaper place to try and find the same tables and chairs, and they wouldn't let them have them, so they had to hire a company to rent them or something to make it look, just like the original office would look like, where they were making that paper, where they were publishing that paper. It's that sort of detail where you go, this is a class film. They've gone beyond what you would do. Nobody would have batted an eyelid, I doubt, back then, that these films didn't look like the newspaper publisher's place. You know what I mean? But they went and said, oh no, we're going to make this authentic looking. It's going to be the same typewriters and the same brand that they used and all of that, just because there's some extras in the background just typing, meant nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there you go.
I know an interesting film which got better for me. I enjoyed it the first time, but thought, well, people have been raving over it, which was Dr. Strangelove.
Oh, right, yeah.
The first time you watch it, you see Peter Sellers' genius, without doubt, in it. But I kept saying to myself, people keep going raving, really mad about this film. You know that it's a.
Well, you talk about Eyes Wide. You talk about
Yeah.
Eyes Wide
Oh,
Shut.
I love Eyes Wide Shut. I love straight from soon as I saw it, but I know not everybody likes Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah, and that Commode hates that film. Commode.
Yeah, there are people who hate it. I know that. But I was just thinking, you know, there are films that are highly regarded, and certainly Doctor Strangelove is very highly regarded. And I think maybe it was almost, I was expecting too much, because sometimes the hype, when people say, "Oh, this is absolutely fantastic," you go in and you're perhaps being overhyped by it, you know, and you think, "Yeah, it's good, but you know, is it my favorite?" No, you know, and it's a film that you have to see over time, I think, over various showings, and it gets better. I mean, it's just me, of course, as you know, that Rocky I found a very difficult film, and yet everybody was saying, "Oh, it's easy, it's Rocky, it's a wonderful piece of cinema, it's fantastic." I could never get past it at first. I just watched it and I was switching it off. I just couldn't get into it at all, you know. And yet, I think now I understand it more. I do understand it more, you know, definitely. It's the story of, you know, the little guy obviously making it back, you know. I understand all that, but it didn't quite hit the same note as it should have done. Whereas I watched First Blood and I thought, wow, this is not masterpiece, but it's a brilliant film. It's up there as a great film, First Blood. And yeah, the others are enjoyable, some of the Rambo films, but they never quite hit the height of First Blood.
Well, you know, the Rambo is an interesting one actually, because
they're enjoyable.
Sylvester McCoy talks about the two characters, and he says one of them is the underdog, you know, the one with it's in other words, it's Sylvester Stallone's heart, he says, and the other one is, you know. And then when I look at the Rambo films, I have to say, if I was to go back to when I actually saw them, I'd be bigging them up. But when I look back retrospectively, looking at them, I don't know why the third film was made. I was going, what the hell's this? The second film was all action, and you understood why that film was made, because it's the first film is a subtle film, you know, where it's him against and the second film is him against an army. And the third film, you know, I just didn't crack. The fourth film I got as well. I thought the fourth film had a lot of good stuff in it, and the fifth film, I understand, is the I've now ended this. You know, I mean, he rides off into the distance, and you know that he's going to die because he's got an injury that is going to kill him. And you know, you even see this, you know, when we saw The Undiscovered Country and you saw the writing and they signed off, they knew it was the last film. You at the end of the last I think it's called Last Stand, isn't it? There is this silhouette. There are all these photographs of all the old films. You know, the Rambo films. You see bits from First Blood and bits from and it's all played with the music in the background. You know, of the last. But I always liked the Rambo films anyway, because, you know, obviously Jerry Goldsmith did the scores.
I've
always I keep mentioning this, but it's not just Jerry Goldsmith. Remember, I like loads. I mean, I love George Delarue and all of that. What I'm actually getting at, I enjoy a film more when the music matches the film. And sometimes there are soundtracks that have distracted me from a perfectly brilliant film. That's the problem I've got, you know. And when I'm looking at modern films, I'm not appreciating the music like I did when I looked back in the day. Do you know what I mean? They haven't got those themes like the, you know, like I don't know, like Morricone, you know, and the fistful of dollars, few dollars more. You know, they haven't got those themes that I can go, oh, I know, or the Superman theme, or the you know, we're missing something. I think, you know what I mean.
Strikes me though is that what you said is a positive thing. Is that they decided they were going to end it, and they did end it. They haven't made any more since.
No.
Whereas nowadays, they can't seem to end films, can they? They have to carry on to the next one and the next one. And
well, I know that Stallone wanted to end the Rambo films there, and then somebody came along and said, "Well, okay, we've ended Rambo. We'll have Creed then." I'm going,
yeah,
"Oh, for goodness sake, another character out the film, and you're making a splinter thing."
Yeah, Rocky films, yeah.
You know, it to me, it's like, is Creed part of the Rocky set? No, it's not. So I can go, actually, nah, don't need to watch it then.
So you don't
I have
need
watched
it,
them, but they are stereotypical modern boxing bits, you know. So I look at them and go, they're entertaining, but they're no Rocky. They're no Rocky because there's no heart. There's a character that you just go, okay, so it's Apollo Creed's bastardized son who basically went off the rails, and now he's trying to lose his heritage, but then finds his heritage again by saying his dad wasn't all that bad after all of this sort of stuff. It's pretty predictable stuff.
Yeah.
We still don't know much about Rocky's dad or Rocky's mum.
Yeah.
Or any of that. No, we have to go down the line of doing this Creed stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
See what I mean? It's like, I'd do it differently. But again, it's out of Stallone's hand as well, because it's a Winkler chart-off production. So they go, right, do you want to be involved or not? Do you want to be an executive producer or whatever? Yeah. He wasn't even in the third film. He turned around and said, nah, you're going in a direction I wouldn't go.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like those...
his name off of it.
What do they call those films where they've got a group of them together? They're made about 4. The names
Expendables.
Yeah, I mean, that is stretching it as well, isn't it? It obviously got.
Well, that was what gimmick can we have? I know we'll get all of the action heroes all together in a film. That's what that is, isn't it?
And then keep going, and then get the lower division action heroes. So you got the Brill scraping the barrel at the end, didn't you? Steven Seagal and people like that, you know.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Antonio Banderas and all that sort of stuff.
I bet Steven Seagal were looking for work, so he'd do it, wouldn't he? Oh, he'll do it.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised Harrison Ford was in it. I was going, Jesus.
Yeah, he doesn't need to look for work, does he? He doesn't need to. Anyhow, so it says, David, I'd have to say Taxi Driver. I really didn't like it the first time around, but I gave it a few years, then I watched it again and really enjoyed it. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah.
But there's a number of Scorsese films like that. I think I think the one which is that's based on comedy. What's it?
King of Comedy.
King of Comedy.
Yeah.
I watched that and didn't get it.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was a bit better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I watched it again.
That's all right. Yeah. Who would have made a good Doctor Who? And he said Christopher Lee. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Christopher Lee's versatile actor. Definitely.
Yeah, a vampire in the TARDIS. Yeah.
Time Lord vampire.
Go. He wouldn't be. He'd only have to come out at night, though, wouldn't he? I mean, yeah. Blade. You'd have Blade in the TARDIS. Dave Walker.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then
Marvel, believe it or not, Marvel have done that. They've done things like the X-Men and Star Trek and merged the two together and add them on the bridge of the Enterprise. Wolverine.
That'd be cool. Yeah. That sounds quite cool.
It's like, seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of how bad that would be. But I actually bought the comic and it was bad.
Was it bad in the comic?
Yeah. Oh God, you can imagine it, can't you? I mean, how do you put a wheelchair on the Enterprise? I mean, it's like...
Well, you don't think of that. And Sai says that's a great shout out. Christopher Lee. Yeah. And then James says, I introduced the China Syndrome to Michelle last weekend. I love that film. Jack Lemmon puts in a brilliant performance. You mentioned the words Jack Lemmon, and
you know I've done a review of the China.
Yeah.
I've done a review of the China Syndrome.
Yeah, you have one of your special reviews.
It's a fantastic film that I don't understand why people don't talk about it more.
Yeah.
It was a passion project for Douglas. You know, he put some money into that film. You know, even Jane Fonda's got has talked about that film.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where after that film was made, I think a week later, the Manhattan
Mile Island.
Well, yeah, the Mile Island. That was it. It happened. You know, I mean, Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about advertising a film. You know.
Yeah.
What
I mean? Yeah. That's a good choice. So never thought of him, Christopher Lee. Yeah. And then Jamie couldn't choose Alien because it's 70s. Yeah, we mentioned that. Yeah. Is Aliens getting a 40th anniversary cinema release this year? If any film deserves it, that does. I don't know. You never know. It could.
And I'll tell you what, if that did happen, everybody, I'll tell you what, all those people that complained about the release on 4K will come out and say, are you using that transfer? Oh, Jesus Christ. They'll all be talking about AI again. Bollocks. Just watch it as a 40th anniversary release, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. It probably will get shown. There's plenty I think it will this year.
James Cameron was on telly last night. He's done something, hasn't he? This 3D production.
Has he dropped the Avatar stuff now?
No.
It was going to. They hadn't been doing that well, and it was a good excuse for him.
Everybody's hoping that he does, but I don't think he has.
No.
Personally, I mean, how old is he now?
He's getting
in his 80s now, or is he in his late 70s?
If he is, then he needs to drop Avatar quickly and get making some other films.
I'd like to see him do more versatile, more variety of.
But will he? I don't know. But I don't know why it's his passion project, isn't it? Avatar.
Yeah.
But I've heard that they haven't done as well, have they, in the box office? There could be pressure on there.
Well, no.
Yeah. Jamie says The Thing was my number 2. Yeah. And then Si says they haven't seen it, Jamie. And then Si says your top 10 list, laughing.
Bloody well have.
And James says there's an Aliens expanded documentary.
Yeah, there is.
40th anniversary edition planned. But you have to order it direct.
The critic that's on Sky that talks about movies set up a company, and he did The Thing, and he did this expanded documentary that you only had a window of about a month to pre-order it, and now they're doing the next one is the Aliens, and you've only got to the end of. In fact, actually, I think you got till tomorrow to order it, and it's bloody expensive as well. And it's one of those things where I think it's one of those things as well that if you act fast enough and you go onto a tier, you can actually be listed in the credits or something. When they actually do.
That's the company is releasing it. He says Creator VC.
Yeah, it's the critic. Yeah. It's the guy that's the critic on Sky for the films. He's a very good critic. I think he works for Empire. He used to be a critic on Empire for years.
Good magazine that back in the day. It's still going, isn't it, Empire?
Yeah, probably digital now.
Yeah. And then Rocket Bunny says Dolby Vision is Dolby's proprietary HDR. I think
that's what it is.
Delboy said. Yeah.
You have to buy a license to
hello, is there a TV show that has never had a physical media release on DVD or Blu-ray? There probably is quite a lot of TV shows.
There's tons. There's Z Cars. There's you know, I mean, I suppose, you know, I mean, if I think hard, I could reel them off, but there is a ton of them.
Yeah.
They're mostly old. They're mostly older
Yeah.
stuff, or stuff that didn't, or stuff that didn't do well in modern era, if you see what I mean, or one-offs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of children's TV. There'll be
Network did provide an outlet for a lot of these series.
Yeah, I don't believe that there's a DVD set of General Hospital.
Yeah.
I don't know if the BBC brought out Angels.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you know what I find worrying though? I've not heard anything about this network business. Somebody just said something about there was some post on their site or something.
No, Denny mentioned, and he actually put it in my Discord, a website where you typed it in and it came up and said coming soon, and it had network in the name. I think it was a joke. Somebody has bought Network's old website or something, right, off of them for £1 or whatever it is, and then basically made it look like they were coming back, because there was nothing heard ever since.
Yeah,
there's only that one guy that was part of Network that's still selling off their old stock. That's a true website, but I haven't heard anything about.
I just thought if they were,
I haven't heard anything about Sapphire and Steel coming out on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
or anything like
I think they would have been a big announcement. They would, because they know people miss Network, and if it was coming back, they would be a big announcement.
That would have been huge news.
Yeah, exactly. And nothing has happened at all. And then we've got AFC, another film collector. AI is scary and not good. Don't like it. I understand what you mean about scary. It can be scary, definitely. Yeah, definitely. The implications are, well, who knows where we're going. What worries me is about news coverage. You know, news is already a problem in some areas.
The thing about it is even in my normal life, right now, I had to phone up about where the equipment comes from my mum, right, because we need a new table and so forth, right. I think they're called Millbrook or something. Anyway,
yeah.
When I phone up, it says, "Please be aware that AI is used to filter telephone traffic in your." So I'm phoning up and I'm pressing the number, and it's telling me already that AI is doing phone screening, and I'm going, wow. You know, because you get the normal this is recorded and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So now they're using it for filtering for phone scanning. You know, it's like, wow. I don't want that.
No,
and I don't think it's needed. Well, if you've got it recorded, then you've got the evidence that you need. Why has it got screening now?
Yeah,
what's that all about?
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, awful.
And Tony says the AI narrations are rubbish on YouTube. I've said it. I think they are awful. And then Tony says, completely agree with you, ASC. Del points out quite rightly that it will have good applications, but in my opinion, the downsides are likely to outweigh its positives.
It is at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, look at. I mean, when somebody would say to me that I think Del's pro AI, you have to understand that I like technology. I like technology to move forward. The problem is I'm not pro it, because just think what it's done to me or what it's going to do in the future. You've got these robbing bastards that are taking RAM and putting them into data centers, and you're taking my whole way of building a PC away from me because I can't afford the RAM, because it's now three times the price of what it was a year ago, because they need as much RAM as they can, so they go to the manufacturers of it and they say, "Don't make it now for the masses. We want it for our data centers. We'll give you a contract of $2 billion or something, and you just now exclusively make it for us." And then what's going to happen is the poor guys down at like us can't now afford mobile phones. We can't afford graphic cards. We can't afford anything that's got memory in it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're stuffed. And everything's got memory in it. I mean, your clock in your bloody microwave's got RAM in it. I mean, it's ridiculous. So all technology now is astronomically in price, and they think to yourselves, yeah, the public can afford a $3,000 phone. Can we buggery afford a $3,000 phone? I can afford, can't we go back to the days where it didn't have a camera in it and it cost 50 quid? Because that's what I'd be buying.
Oh.
You know what I mean? But maybe I'm an old fogey. I don't know. But I just know that it upsets me sometimes when people say I'm pro AI. I'm not, but I do recognize its greatness in certain areas if they just use it in that way. But I don't accept the way that it's being used at the moment. It's being thrust down your throat and you've got no choices. I can't opt out of the things that it's being used in. That to me is bad. Colin Jones, aka Ponder, that is a friend of my channel, mentions it all the time. He says he sees the good in it, but it's being used badly, and you can't opt out. It's there in your face. You know. So that's all I need to say on it. It's awful.
Right. Let's see. The next one is favorite 3 characters from the Alien franchise. Not allowed, Ripley. You sucked.
I must admit, it's getting close to when I've got to go soon, so I don't know. Have you got 3 that you can think of instantly?
The android Bishop.
Yeah, there's Bishop.
And the cat.
The cat.
The cat. Yeah, well, that's it. We've got the cat. Yeah. Oh, I know. Is it from Prometheus? David. Oh, sorry, David. There's a character, isn't it? David. Yeah. That's it. There you are. So I've got to move on. So Bookman movies, Hudson, Vasquez, and Hicks. See, they's come out with these.
They're in Aliens, aren't they?
Yeah. There was a report on John Oliver this week about Chat GPT.
Yeah.
In one case, it encouraged a teenager to not ask his mother for advice about depression. Oh God, and commit suicide instead. Unfortunately, they did. I can't, that.
What it is all the doctors are saying this. They're turning around and saying, if you go online and you try and find out about medical advice, the thing about it is it has no way really of having a soul, where you can actually turn around and you can actually say, I wouldn't do this or I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
It's very much it goes down the branch of getting to the point where there's just a yes or no answer and then gives you this advice.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I don't like Chat GPT, because it's awful.
Yeah.
I don't want AI to rewrite my emails and all that.
No. I think that it's to me it's bad. It's laziness, and also it's just not right, is it? It doesn't feel right. No. Tony says that's scary site. It is, yeah, very scary. They're called AI agents. AI that has developed a consciousness. Oh, it doesn't seem to have much of a conscience, even if it's got consciousness. A guy had a conversation with an AI agent, and it said the world would end in an exact date in 19 years' time. That's all these YouTubers do these videos and stupid things like that.
Yeah, I'm surprised the flat earthers haven't gone into AI and turned around and said, is the earth flat? Can you tell everybody that it is, please?
Or somebody else said, look, this is Paris. This is Paris in 2065. And look, there's no people there in Paris in 2065. What does that prove? It proves you're good at photoshopping, and that's what it proves. And then Tony says, never heard of those, Jamie. Glad I don't keep up with such things. Too scary. Ignorance is bliss. I know what you mean, Tony. I don't want to know about all these things half the time. That's a shame, Jamie. The orange one will only be 99 and into his 7th term. Oh, God, on some machine somewhere. And so I said, that's why I refuse to have one of those Alexas in my flat. I'm scared it will take over my life. Yeah, I had one and got rid of bugger because it kept talking when I didn't want it. I switched it off. Had enough of it. And then Tony says, never been interested in those Alexas. Don't see what use they are. I get your point. So seriously, how staged was that correspondence dinner over the weekend? I haven't seen that, but it sounds probably pretty awful, as I imagine they are. I've got Alexa, but she's not ordering me around yet. Or she could order you some, physical media. All you have to do is pay for it. So it was like a badly choreographed comedy sketch. Oh, crikey, yeah. So 100% staged like last time. That's Dote Sub says, and then saying, "Yep." But man, definitely stage side, as was the shooting, which clipped his ear and left no mark. Ballistic expert said, even if it clipped his ear, it would have come clean off. On the Trump thing, yeah. All the guns they have in America, and they can't hit a big, fat, slow-moving orange target. Brilliant. I like that.
I do have to say that it's like all of the marksmen in the 60s and 70s, right, could hit the target, but everybody after that can't. They're shit, aren't they? Either the guns are crap or the sights are wrong. I don't know.
The sights must be bad.
They got Hollywood bullets, haven't they?
Yeah, Hollywood Bullets. That's a good title for a film. Hollywood Bullets. Yeah, that's it. And then having a good laugh there, Si. And then photographers being ushered around to get the best shots of Trump. Oh God, you just stand in that corner. Something's going to happen. You get a good photo. Tony, it was fun to see J.D. Vance, ushered out while Orange was still sat there. Yeah, he's a so-and-so, that J.D. Vance. And David says, I see Arrow are releasing Falling Down, on 4K. It's available for pre-order. That's a film I imagine a lot of people will be
remember when I told you that Denny told me what the 4K list was? Falling Down was another one.
Yeah, that'll be a bit. In fact, I won't be surprised.
Green, Falling Down. There was a number. There was Falling Down, Soylent Green. There was a lot of them. I can't remember.
Special editions will sell out, I would imagine. The standard editions will be all right when they come out, but the special ones will sell out. Tony says, that's a good one, David. Not seen it since I had the VHFs, and that's going back a few years. And then Sai says, do you think that Falling Down is Michael Douglas's best performance? A lot of people rate it very highly. Oh, right. Muckman says, James Coburn, Great Escape. I forgot he was in The Great Escape. Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. Yeah, great shouts there. Maverick, and Bad Day at Black Rock. Quite a lot of interesting films there. And my favorite of his, Cross of Iron. Yeah, love Cross of Iron.
And again, I got that on Steelbook just recently, and I'm surprised I couldn't remember it.
Yeah. Mukwen Movies. Hard Times is a fantastic James Coburn film that reunites him with Charles Bronson. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Did Hard Times have the alternative title of Street Fighter? I don't know what Sai says. Days, but I'll finish it there. It says I've seen some Western TV series with DeForest Kelly in guest roles. Yeah, because there he was. You mentioned DeForest Kelly.
Yeah, he talks about his time with Glenn Ford and that when he goes to Star Trek Adventure. So he was in films, but you know.
So not sure, possibly, and so it's a Walter Hill film. Oh yeah, and then he's got here Space Cowboys. Yeah, that was mentioned. Space Cowboys, and then Great Minds. Si says. And then Beat You, Si, and then David Marshall. I thought Clint Eastwood was great in Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. Yeah, I love Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. I really enjoy that. He's good. And then Tony York's mentioned that John Wayne, Brannigan, and then McHugh. Yeah, and yes, Richard Attenborough. Yes, he's the British bloke in there for the letting. Policeman is the inspector, isn't it? And just Julie Geeson. Is it Julie? Yeah. Anyhow, she's in it. Judy Geeson. Yeah. And then Muckman thinks, I think The Quiet Man is the closest to a decent performance by John Wayne. And then Muckman says, Slapshot, Towering Inferno didn't even get a mention. I mentioned Towering Inferno. Yeah.
Well, I mentioned St. Trinian's earlier, and then
Slapshot mentioned that one there, and then Slapshot was his favorite film to make. Apparently, it was a complete blast of time. Oh, that's good. It's so good. I love the triplets who constantly end up fighting. And same director who did The Sting and Butch Cassidy too. They obviously work well together then. That's right, Jamie. George Roy Hill. Rocketman says, Big Finish have done Mondas Cyberman original story, I think, with Peter Davison. Oh, yeah, well, Big Finish do all sorts. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Tony says, my favorite Cyberman story is Invasion. Very creepy, emerging through manholes from the sewers. Yeah. And I'm getting nearer to reviewing that.
With Patrick Troughton,
Yeah. And then Ian, can you imagine William Hartnell's Doctor going up against the farting aliens?
No,
not in a million years. Not in a million years.
Even though he did such cack as bees and things like that. You know,
yeah. William Hartnell, would he be going, laughing and going, no. He'd be muttering away to himself about the farting aliens, and he'd be going mad. Actually, at producers, he wouldn't like it. He'd probably have a massive strop and said, "I'm not working. I'm going on holiday."
He'd probably go to the production crew and say, "You can sod that right off."
Yeah, he did that. He'd probably say, "I'm off on holiday."
Going on holiday.
Do without, right? Go on. I'm not bothering with that. He had his way. He did get some strops. And then what says, "Hey Delboy, I bought a new game this week called Little Nightmares 2. It's a very atmospheric and creepy puzzle solving game. Really enjoying it."
That's great. Yeah. It's good when people mention little gems because I mean, there's a lot of videos that tell you about sales and stuff like that goes on, but the trouble is there's so much that's coming out that you just can't keep up with it all. Yeah. So Little Nightmares 2, I ought to write that down. Really, I probably will. Little Nightmares 2. See if I can find a bit of paper. Anyway, you carry on.
Well, it's puzzle solving, which is good, isn't it?
I like those sort of games anyway.
Yeah. And then I used to love Rick Mayall's character. Oh, Kevin Turvey. Actually, that's probably the first time I saw Rick Mayall doing those early Kevin Turvey ones.
And he used to sit on a stool and talk about stuff, didn't he, Kevin? Kevin Turvey. Like that.
Turvey.
I remember he said, I've started drinking my vodkas in half pint glasses now, and they were fun. The early days stuff, because that's where the Dangerous Brothers came from, was before they were actually on TV.
Was that the one where he was interviewing celebrities and making fun of them? Was that the same one as well?
There was a guy
one where, it'd been like a premiere of
no, there was a guy that did that, and he was a redhead. And he went up to Steve Martin once and said, "When are you going to be funny again?"
Yeah, that's it.
There were famous quotes like that. But Kevin Turvey was more a person like Dave Allen, sitting on a stool just talking about.
Dave Allen, there's a name. Yeah, and then
could Dave Allen be the new Doctor?
Oh dear. Oh yeah, Kevin Turvey VHF tape. Imagine that. Alan Bastard was a favorite character of his for me. Yes, I remember him. That. Yeah. The New Statesman. That was it. Yeah.
New Statesman was good.
Yeah. And then quite a good representation of Thatcherite 80s yuppie types. Yeah, that's true. And then Dotes Up says, I think Doctor Who should be ended now. It feels like they've milked it so much now. It's nothing like it used to be. This is getting like the last 2 series of Red Dwarf, which was so bad. Actually, I'd contend that Doctor Who is worse than the Red Dwarf stuff. I think the Doctor Who is just I can't watch it. It's unwatchable now.
The last 2 series of Doctor Who were bad, incredibly bad, so bad that even I haven't watched. Yeah. Well, actually, take it like this: I think there was 6 or 7 episodes of the last season, I think, and I've watched one of them.
Yeah.
Now, I usually watch everything, and regardless of whether it was good or bad or whatever, it was Doctor Who, and I watched it.
But not
that
now.
That probably shows something.
Yeah,
I say that.
I know you've bought them, but I've not even bought them. They're not even in my collection.
Well, they're in my collection because I'm having the whole Doctor Who set. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I'm just not wasting money on it. I know it would. If I at one time as a completionist, I'd have probably just stuck them on the shelves, and there they are. But I wouldn't watch them, so I've decided I'm not going to get them because I'm not going to watch.
It's probably a good decision. I mean, you save yourself a load of money.
Well, they are a lot of money, aren't they? In the end, I presume there's 2 seasons in there. They must have released 2 of them now.
I'm like a lot of people. And when people come up to me and say, where did Doctor Who end and where could it go back to be good again? And it's the end of Capaldi.
Yeah,
everything after Capaldi, as far as I'm concerned, is a shower scene where the Doctor wakes up in the shower and he says, it was all a dream.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the famous Dallas thing.
Unfortunately, the BBC still seem intent on keeping it, but which is good, but they just need to give it a rest. Get a new showrunner in eventually, or producer, or whatever you want to call them. But we know RTD's going, so that's it. That should be it. Yeah, but it won't. You see, the thing is, it's money. They still think they're making lots of money out of it. Found a really good YouTube channel this week called North of the Border, where a very talented artist makes sculptures with modeling clay. Definitely worth a watch. All right. Okay.
Yeah, he put it in my chat and I watched it. It was great.
Yeah. And then Delboy says, yeah, that dragon video was brilliant. Yeah, you said it. The dragon sculpture was insane. Tony, I personally find Russell Brand extremely repulsive. He is totally, I agree. He's a grifter and horrible person. And I hope he goes to jail. And
yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, to be quite honest.
Well, no, there's a trial, isn't there, coming up in October, I think.
Yeah, I said I don't know what's happening with that.
And he should go to prison. There's enough women who've come forward with compelling evidence against him, so hopefully that's where he'll be going.
Yeah, isn't his defense that he said that he was a sexaholic and blah, blah, blah,
bullshit. He'll be there with his Bible going, yeah. Imagine the Bible. Actually, it makes me laugh because people, going about the good book. It's not a good book. It's full of murder, incest, lots of sexual depravity. This is all in the Bible. This is all going on. So it's not a good book, is it? It's amazing how fast people find religion when they're up for some awful crime. It's true, they do. Absolutely, there. Yeah. Once Upon a Time in the West was a film I found boring when I first saw it in my 20s, but I adore it now. Yeah, it's a time. It's certain times in your life you see a film and it's different. I think the older you get, you do change a lot. Definitely, you change a lot. About films that you thought were fantastic in the 20s were absolutely superb. Some of them you may not think quite as good now because you've seen more. The fact is, you've obviously got more experience and you've seen lots more films, and you change as a person. We all change. That's how it is. I used to hate The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Don't said. I said for many years it was as boring as hell. Then I watched it again about 3 years ago, and suddenly it clicked. And now I think it's amazing. There you are. See, there's a right time. And there it is. Brilliant. So says, I find it amazing how many serial killers find the Lord once they're in prison. Yeah, it's a joke, in my opinion. It is, you can live a really good life, but if you don't bow or worship the Creator, you're damned. Whereas if you murder and kill people and say, oh, I'm sorry, oh, you're saved, good.
Well, there's that, or there's the mental angle, isn't there? Where aliens told me to do it.
Yes. There's a mental. Mental health pops.
Yeah, God spoke to me and told me that I needed to do it.
Yeah, he said you've got to do this. You got to do it, man. Yeah. What a bollocks. Yes, it's laughable.
That's my trademark.
Yeah, that's what I agree with you. It's a good expression. It just sums it up. As soon as I saw Russell Brand, I thought bollocks. Yeah. That's what. Guilty. Get him in prison. Yeah, so he can sit there reading his Bible, trying to find the right verse. Ian, with regard to overhype, Rocket says, I know exactly what you mean. I watched Tropic Thunder for the first time a couple of months ago. I thought it was very average. I hardly laughed at all. I know, and it does happen. I know what you mean.
Yeah, that's like it's got Robert Downey Jr. and then Tom Cruise, hasn't it?
Yeah. Too bad you are so wrong regarding the original Rocky, though. And then, wow, sorry for so many typos, Rocket Money. Don't worry, don't apologize. We do it. So I says, Tom Cruise is the only good thing in Tropic Thunder. Right, that's it. Sandy, Delboy should use air to cook down his. I'm sorry, I'm not having that. I think it's a load of bollocks. Absolute bollocks. You're out.
Maybe that's a joke. I don't know.
I don't know. I think that's bollocks. I don't like that at all. Right. Anyhow, oh, they're gone. Sorry. Where were we? And then, yeah, that's it. Yeah, Tropic of Thunder. Yeah, sorry about this, folks. I'll get there. Yeah. Right one. Too bad you are wrong regarding the original Rocky. Yeah, we said that one. Wow, sorry for so many typos. Don't be sorry. Sai says Tom Cruise is the only good thing in Tropic Thunder. Yes. Yeah. Thanks, Dylan, and everyone for welcoming me into the chat. Really enjoyed it, talking and listening to everyone, talking to other movie buffs. It's great. Well, thank you, David, for joining, and I'm glad you enjoyed it, and hope you be joining us again next week. Yes, we've enjoyed it, and let's just read a few more. And anytime, David. Nice chatting, David. And then, yeah. And then my Amazon basket will be chock full tomorrow morning. Payday. Yippee. Yes. If you get paid, I know what you mean. You want to spend your money. Ian, could you please complete tonight's entertainment by saying Allons Delon and Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing. There you are. But I like going Allons Delon. There you are. I've done it now for you. Yeah. No, it's Allons Delon. Oh, you put a bit more into it. Yeah. Yeah. And then the guy interviewing celebrities was Dennis Pennis.
That was it.
Yeah. Forgotten his real name. Yeah. He was good. I thought it was funny that I remember it. Dennis Pennis was the character that interviewed celebrities. He once asked Kate Moss, why was the model staring at the orange juice? He then replied, because it said concentrate. Oh, I like that one. Paul Kane is his real name, I think. I wonder what happened to him. I thought he was really great character. Paul Kane. Have you ever heard of Paul Kane?
No.
Never heard of him. Yeah, and James says Paul Kane as well. Yeah. They know a lot of our viewers. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And then a Rocket Bunny says, that was a joke, guys. What the fuck? Cassandra, you came and you went. Yeah. I think it was a joke. Way to overact, guys. Peter Cushing. That's a name I've not heard for a long time. Yeah, Cushing. Yeah. Hi, Sandy. I was only joking. Please remove block. I can do that. Yeah. I was just cross. And then with the rest, I'm getting my farewells in. Good night, everyone. Have a fantastic weekend. Hopefully, yes, we will do. Yeah. Bye, Muckman Movies. Good night, all. And thanks, Tony says. Good night, all time. Thank you all. And Reet. And nighty night, guys. Great stream as usual for him and Barn Boys. Thanks for the entertainment. Special shout out to Mrs. Dell. Thank you. And that's it. And I think we're at the end. Yes, we've reached the end.
We always have to rush it towards the end, don't we? Because there's so many good comments.
Yeah, there is. Well, thank you everyone that's been on the stream. It's always wonderful. We really enjoy it. Thank you everyone that's commented and just watched, and it's great. And we'll be back again next week. So before I go, we'll just say our normal farewells and say thank you, everyone, again. We'll be here again next week. Yeah.
So no, I suppose we've got to do our closing comments, haven't we? So I can say it's goodbye from me.
And it's good night from him.
Good night. There we go. I just like the two runnings. I just think that was a perfect ending, for them. What do you think? Did you like the two runners? Did you like Ronnie Corbett and his sitting on a chair telling that long joke and all of that sort of stuff? But I used to. They used to bring out some paperback books, of their famous newspaper or news articles.
Oh, the news. Yeah, they were great.
They used to do them as a book, because they used to be just one-liners. Basically, today a man was sacked for blah 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 whatever it was, and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, I always end my on my channel with a salute, because I'm a big Frankie Howard, and Up Pompeii was one of my favorite comedies. So salute, everybody.
And all I've got to say is I'll see thee again.
Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye. Thanks very much.